Hello, everybody. We
Hey
are
guys.
we are live. Everybody, welcome, Jules.
Hey everyone. How's everybody doing?
Hello, hello. Hi. Is it a one way street? Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Jules sent
I'm a-
me. Jules sent me. That's awesome. Thanks for coming over here, guys. I don't like doing lives myself, so I will be
I
on
am
hers.
yes, like I am totally socially awkward. I'm very much an introvert, so doing lives it's really weird for me. I much prefer videos, but I do like to interact with people. I love to see
Hmm.
people. It's great. I don't know about you, but I suck at small talk. You
Me
know, I
too.
see people able to just sit back and chat over a whole lot
Hmm.
of nothing for an hour.
Yeah,
Bro, I can't do it.
I can't. Everyone would instantly know. Oh, she's pushing that. That's not that's not normal.
Yes, exactly. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for being here. Please hit the like button on your way in. I really appreciate you being here. So does Jules. I'm going to
Of
play my
course.
intro real quick. It's a short one. And then we will get right down to business. Thank you so much for being here, everybody.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
All right, all right, all right. And I have a new member right off the bat. Moto Max, I think, or Moto Man. Moto Man X. Did I say that right? I'm sorry. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go up and say hi to some people, and then I'll continue to say hi as we go along. Yeah, I don't see any of my mods here
I don't either.
yet,
I
but
don't
it's
either.
okay.
I saw your message and I was like, let me scroll. Let me look if I can find a wrench. Nope. I don't see one.
Okay. Anybody want to mod? I know almost everybody in here, so it's all cool. Hey T, welcome. Criminality. Hey girl. Why do I not have her wrenched? Hey,
Oh well, no.
Winter Lover will. Cool,
yeah,
cool. All right. Let's see. Let me just so that I don't have to watch the screen too closely. Don't have to worry. Okay, there we go.
See, that's
Oh,
another reason.
and
I know I'd have to.
okay.
That's another reason I don't want to do lives. I have to kick people out.
Hey, Glowbug, how you doing? My only rules, I don't care if people mention other channels. I welcome that. I'm fine. Hey, Bree, absolutely. I'll have to wait until you get up a little higher here. There we go. A little heart on the screen is in my way. There we go.
Criminality said you can wrench her.
Okay, got
But
it.
she says, warning, I'm not the best wrench.
Yeah, I'm mod for a bunch of people too.
Oh,
Will
Fofa and
be.
okay, Pointer Lover and Fofa Cat.
Okay, got him. All right, cool. We're good then. Delana will be here. I know I've got several. I just, I didn't message anybody individually this time, and I realized just a little bit ago that I didn't do that. So it's on me. But welcome new mods. I appreciate you very much. All right, so let me go up, say hi to a few people here. If you're joining from Julez' channel, thank you very much for coming and welcome.
Yay, thanks for coming, guys.
So we're going to be going over, I'm going to go and show this real quick because I thought it was funny. BK supporters watching 48 hours on January 7th. BK supporters watching 48 hours on September 16th.
Yeah. It was
I love that meme.
interesting. It was an interesting watch, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. It really was because that's me. January 7th and yes.
Yeah.
Friday. It was great. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right. So JC asked a question, asked if I'm on Discord. I joined Discord and I got the app. That's as far as I've gotten. I don't really plan to have a Discord or anything for my channel. I just don't see the point in it. I have the private Facebook group. Anybody's welcome there, and I don't need your YouTube name or anything like that to join. You can just join there. And that's where I put documents and other stuff in there. So I already said hi to you individually, but I'll just say hi to these guys again. And Doodlebug Fart, hey, will be OCD Shaggy. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Randy. And Steve Shadow from Australia. Cool. Welcome. All right. Do you see anybody you want to say hi to real quick before we start?
Oh, there's a lot of people in here.
I know there's too many to be individual. Oh,
yeah,
and
I always I don't see, that's another thing. Look, that's another reason I don't want to accidentally skip somebody and make somebody feel bad either. That's why I'm just I'm usually just hi everyone. I don't want to miss anybody.
Hi everybody.
Everyone,
love you all.
I love you all. Yes, that's I don't want to miss anyone.
Doc, thank you so much for the super sticker. And as always, any donations that I receive, any super stickers or super chats or anything, I will split 50-50 with my co-host Julez. So you just made $250, girl.
Just sitting here being cute.
Yep, just sit there and be cute. Randall and Lori, hi. Hey, Tiffany, welcome. Okay, so you all should see in my notes when the 48 hours episode happened. My notes were basically shorthand. I did do medical transcription for years, and my shorthand came in handy, y'all. Because
that's how I take my notes. I take my case notes like I write my medical notes.
Exactly, it was all shorthand. I ended up with 4 pages of shorthand, and then I went back and rewrote it out, and I have 6 pages of notes.
Ooh, yeah.
But I underlined only the parts that we're going to really talk about. Just mainly the stuff that the parents said. And I even made a little presentation thing to keep me on track. So it's got all my stuff in here. I cannot play the preview like I did the other night. Is it showing? There it is. Because they struck me for showing the 48 hours teaser. So I'm not going to be playing that. But
yeah, they're quick with the strikes.
Like yeah, they got me quick. And I didn't even play any of the music from it. It was only me talking over the video. I was like, are you serious?
And that's the part that struck me, because when you told me they have like embedded music that the algorithm tries to pick up, but they have to have also some sort of visual programming on that to be able to do that, because that's insane.
Yeah, it was totally on mute. All I did was play the video and I read it aloud.
They're
and
so
it said
quick.
that it said it's a copyright claim, not a strike, which is good, but still, like, really?
Yeah.
All I did was read the commercial. It's just a commercial is all it really
was.
It's
basically you giving them free advertising and they struck you.
Cool. Yeah, I was like, whatever. Okay. Okay, so first in the 48 Hours episode, they played that video again. And then they began it by saying Peter Van Sant was the interviewer. And he said that Brian has waived his right to a speedy trial. And Christy said, well, we were really hoping to get this show on the road. This is agony. And then Steve said transparency is the best path to justice. I think that goes along with the cameras. You know, I think that's why they're in support of having cameras in the courtroom.
Yeah.
He wants to see everything. He said at one point, that I want to see everything. Hold on, let me find it.
Well, honestly, I really liked that one scene with them two together where they were asked about, you know, how positive they are about Brian being the guy. I mean, it showed actually it's kind of hard to describe. I'll say it was a wholesome scene to me, because it showed that, you know, Christy can completely be like, oh yeah, he's it. I don't care. He's the guy 100%. And Steve can still have his doubts and say, I'm still 100% on board with somebody else possibly being involved, and I don't trust anything. And they both just look at each other with like total understanding that it's okay that they feel differently. And I really appreciated to see that, because there's been a lot of, I guess, like rumors about them fighting because they see things differently. But if anything, that scene showed us that regardless of how they feel, they still seem like a very much united front. And I like seeing that.
I noticed that as well. It's like, this has got to be, I mean, as he said, this is agony.
Yeah.
And so Peter had asked, with what you know, are you certain he is and instead of saying the M word or unaliver, which I think is just dumb, I'm just going to say perpetrator.
Yeah, that's better.
Steve said, I have to see everything for myself. And then Peter said, your mind's still open to the potential that it's someone else? And Steve said, yes. Yeah. Christy then shook her head. She's certain that it's BK and only BK.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting when they brought up a KILL kit.
Yeah. I mean, I understand their reasoning for that, but like I think I mentioned in my video, I don't really think that would have anything to do with the person that's the suspect per se, but just the case and the way that everything is laid out in the case itself. Because it doesn't make sense that there's, you know, the canines didn't pick up a scent outside the house. It doesn't make sense that if the story that we're hearing that the family was told is true, that they ran to go call someone else outside of the house, but they still didn't notice that there was a crime scene upstairs. Like, it would have to be something that would be kill kiddish in order for there to have been that much not noticeable to the human eye.
Yeah, I think that is their brains trying to just make it make sense. You know, like what they said with what was the other thing that they said? Oh, the drug theory.
Yeah.
They said that all that's just Hollywood nonsense, that's just society trying to provide an answer as to why this happened. So it's all of our minds just kind of figuring out what we can figure out with what we know. And I thought that was a really good answer. What I found interesting, let me go to my video clips. You guys, I have so many video clips. Hello, Malicious Intent. How are you? Sexy Wild Thing, Carol freaking Claus. Hi, how are you doing, sweetie? Okay, so when they brought up the Instagram, I'm going to play that clip really quick from the show. If they strike me, whatever.
They're going to strike you. They're going to strike you.
Do you like my little... Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
The kiss my butt.
Yeah,
had to
I
make
like
it.
that.
Okay, I'm going to play this real quick. For anybody who hasn't seen it, here we go.
Went online.
They just told us the name, and we immediately started Googling.
They believed they had found a possible connection. They had found a Instagram connection, and immediately took these screenshots.
From our investigation of the account, it appeared to be the real Brian Koberger account.
It's echoing.
Among the people this account was following were Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Mogan.
It's echoing. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'll just play it from my folder. I uploaded it into StreamYard.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
hold on,
it was
let me move it
echoing
up
for
here.
me.
That's weird. I was muted.
Jess said echo. Steve Shadow said hard to hear.
Okay, so this is the screenshot that they showed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another reason why I tried out the other live software, because StreamYard does that to me. It doesn't do that to everybody, but a lot of us have that problem when we're showing something full screen, it doesn't work right. And I'm just tired of it. So I'm checking out Streamlabs and OBS and seeing if I can find something else. So this is the screenshot that they showed on the program. Now, what's interesting is this is the exact same one. I sent you a photo and the little video recording that I did of it.
Mm-hmm.
On 12/30, the day that he was arrested, all of us went immediately on and started looking.
Yep.
And I even showed that, like, my screenshot that I got was from that day. I'm going to play the recording, you guys. I'm going to skip the graphic part, because I just don't want to show that part. Hang on. Mute myself. Hang on. Okay, let me go back to the beginning. So this video recording was from, that I got was from December 30th. And it has a little bit different count.
Yeah.
But it had one post, and then it's this recording. And now I'm going to skip, and it gets pretty graphic. I'm going to skip way over here. So now it goes to the followers, and you can see here that, like,
he's following himself.
No, this is Kaylee's account.
Okay, Kaylee's account.
This Brian.
See.
And it's this one is the one that was this person.
Yeah.
And then it goes down. I think there's an Krim Koberger as well. So by then, other fake names had already started like following the girls.
Quickly.
I don't know which ones are real and which ones are not. That's just a little recording that I got that day.
Well, see, and the thing with that,
so weird.
The thing with that is that even in the special, after they showed all this, they even state they weren't able to validate the information. So it makes you question the screenshot date that the family showed 48 hours whenever they told them this, because if it would have been anything relevant, 48 hours probably would have said, yeah, we checked the screenshot time and it was definitely, on this date, at this time, it would make sense for this to be his. No, they said, no, we can't validate any of this.
Yeah, I really wish they would have gone back and shown that. Deception Dismantled, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Let me go to my folder and I'll show you like what they could have. Where did I have that saved? Okay, go to desktop and then this folder. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys what I showed. Nope, it's not in here. What I showed Jules. If I can find it again. It was pretty buried. When I saw that on there, I was like, whoa, that's the same one I think I had. Good grief.
The ones you text me?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
folder
was
did
gonna
have them
say
in?
to go into like a sent folder, but then you texted me those.
Right, yeah. Where did I have that? Okay, Idaho 4. Here we go. Brian Koberger. I think I had it in here. Oh, it is. Okay. Go to properties. Ah, man. I can't do that because it shows my name of my computer. Hold on, let me go this way. It has my name in it. Darn it. That's why I chopped it. Well, Lord have mercy. I have so many screenshots now. Nope. Just, you guys, just believe me. It was, it was from December 30th. I'm not going to waste too much time on that. All right. But thank you, Deception Dismantled. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hippie chick. Hey, TTT Sharon. How are you doing? All right. So now I know that so many people have, come forward and said that they had Brian's name before he was arrested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
So I went looking for all these. I could
I can't
not
find it.
find one interview anywhere that said that.
Yeah, and I know that I know it had to have existed. I just know it. There's so many of us that remember it. I remember us having conversations about this months and months back, and I can still visually like remember what this interview looked like, and I can't find it. I've been looking. I just cannot find it.
Well, I asked my people on Twitter, hey, send me if you've got any footage of any of the family saying that they had his name before the arrest. And this person was like, here it is. I found it, and sent me this. And it's not quite it. Let me make sure my volume's all the way up. Yep.
Deception remembers.
The father of Kaylee
I remember
Gonzalez
it
breaks the
too.
silence on the arrest of Brian Koberger to News Nation's reporter Brian Enton. Take a listen.
Yeah, Nicole, I just wrapped up this conversation with Kaylee's dad, Stephen. Still heartbroken, but said initially when they learned about the arrest, they were the first to learn about it from police late Thursday night that the arrest was going to happen. They felt some relief. They even felt joy to a certain
was going to happen, not had happened.
Yeah, but if I go back a little bit, and this is what drives me crazy. So it's still heartbroken, but said initially when they learned about the arrest, they were the first to learn about it from police late Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
That the arrest was going to happen.
Yeah,
but he still doesn't say. He still didn't say that they had his name.
The name. Yeah, no, that part
Right.
came out of Steve's mouth from an interview. And it was, from what I recall, the only time that he ever said it. He never repeated it again after that.
Yeah, and I can't find it. They totally must have scrubbed that because I cannot find it anywhere now. And I've got several of these interviews like this that say that they knew that an arrest was about to happen. And even Olivia said she only had a few minutes to, search him up.
And that's what confused me when she said that. We only had a few minutes before things went wonky. Okay, well, that's not the narrative that you guys have been telling us for months now.
Going to happen. They felt some relief. They even felt joy.
HJ Luna said she remembers too. They remember too.
Is just being overwhelmed, knowing that the court process is about to begin and that they are going to see the accused killer face to face.
There's going to be somebody there looking him in the face and letting him know that this isn't going away anytime soon. This is just the beginning.
Victim Kaylee Gonzalez's father, Steve, says they are looking for connections between Koberger and Kaylee and the other victims.
I'm biased, but if you got to know my daughter, I would think it'd be impossible for you to hurt her. So I think a little bit of us all kind of felt like this was somebody who didn't have a chance to meet her, talk to her, get to know her, because
Okay, Mallory, if you can find that, let me know. Hopefully, if you can find it during this live, that would be fantastic because, girl, I have looked everywhere and I can find a whole lot of interviews that are like this where they talk about the arrest, but not by name. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, let me see here.
Yeah.
We've got
And Jess is mentioning about Christy telling that to Daniel. That they had it a couple hours before.
Yes, I did email Daniel personally, and I asked him very specifically, hey, did Christy just say that she knew that an arrest was going to happen? Or did she actually say, we knew his name beforehand? And he replied back and said that she specifically said that they told them his name right before the arrest.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And that's what I mean, something like that, I don't know why they would lie about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but I have issues with it because as far as I understand, that's totally not protocol. But I would also wonder, like, which law enforcement agency called them, because there were so many in on this. So I'm wondering if it was Moscow, if it was Chief Fry himself, if it was an FBI agent, like, who could actually be the ones who have gotten away with that? Because that's not legal. From what I'm understanding, that's not normally how it works. It's usually after.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. They're not supposed to do that, but they did. And I don't blame them. I really, really don't. So this is the now deleted interview that Miss Kiss My Butt did on News Nation. This was very hard to find. So I'm going to play this. This is the stuff that Christy and Steve was basically saying that they had heard before the gag order. Let me mute myself first. There we go.
We're early in the morning, so it seems likely that maybe they were sleeping.
Were they found in separate areas of the house?
That hasn't been disclosed yet.
Can you tell me, when you say that they might have been sleeping, were they found in beds?
Yes.
And so can you tell me if there were multiple stab wounds per victim, or were these sort of, individual lethal stab wounds that may have been less in number, but more in lethality?
There were multiple stab wounds, yes, on them. So, and
were there? Go ahead.
And most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound. Yes.
Can you describe what that one might have been?
But they were to the fatal ones were to the chest area or the upper body area.
Were there, and I only ask this because it sometimes determines what kind of a crime this was, a crime of passion, a random crime, a fight, a struggle. Was there, were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings. And it has to be somebody that's pretty angry in order to stab 4 people to death.
Yeah, that is the only remnants of that interview that's out there. That's it. The whole thing is gone from the website. It's gone from their social media. I had to use the Wayback Machine to dig it out. So, and thank you so much for being here too, Carol. And Kim, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. Okay, let me go back here. Hey, Pepper, welcome. Hey, Jess. Hi, Shelly Sear. How are you? Hey, Music City Mom.
No, Doodlebug, I don't think it was with Chronicles of Olivia, because I don't think she's interviewed them since his arrest, at least nothing that she's posted online. I think everything with her was prior.
Yes, everything was prior. Hey, Shay, baby. All right, let me go back to my little presentation here. Okay. Now, I don't like that I can't make this full screen.
Will be, as far as I can remember from the arrest warrants, I mean, not arrest warrants, from the warrants on the official site, there's really not a lot of warrants specifically for the suspect. I don't believe any social media sites were checked prior to arrest, from what I can remember for him. Which is probably, I mean, honestly, the defense, I know the defense is claiming there's no connection between him and the victims. And while, yes, they can, say whatever they feel like they need to say to try to defend their client, they can't sit up there and straight up lie. So that's another thing here with all these social media things. And also something I've, mentioned 20,000 times. This was someone who was well-versed in cloud-based forensics that wanted to offer their services to people. I understand maybe making, the mistake of possibly leaving a knife sheath behind, a heat of the moment mistake, but to follow your so-say targets on social media under your own account that can easily be traced back to you, to go with your own phone on every single time you went to go and stalk your, future victims. That doesn't make sense to me. I have issues with that. Just the longevity of the mistakes just doesn't make sense.
No, it does not. I'm looking for that photo that I had. I've shown it several times. Now I can't find it. It's this photo, but it's before they started boxing up the things up here.
Well, there's so many.
Because you can still see her bed right here with the covers pulled back.
Yeah.
They were boxing up her stuff. But there's another photo. I don't know where it went. This was in January, this photo. I'm looking for one from the next day. Somebody had up. In the special, they did bring up this photo as well.
Yeah.
And they did it very dramatically. They said even the house was bleeding. And I was like, really? I couldn't believe that they brought that up, that he brought that up in front of the parents. I personally wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So we already knew that Olivia was the one that went into detective mode. She pulled up Kaylee's phone records and she was able to locate the private driver, the time that they got home, and the grub truck footage.
See, that's another thing though, because we heard early on that it was Olivia looking at ring cams that got her the timing of the girls getting home. And for as long as I can remember, we were told it was like a phone call, or I guess we assumed it was a phone call because we were told she called her private driver. Well, Olivia says in this, it's a text message that Kaylee sent.
Yeah, so she said she was looking at her texts and phone calls, right? And then she said she started calling her recent ones, which probably one of them was the private driver.
Mm-hmm.
And they confirmed. And then, by the way, I do want to let everybody know the private driver is not involved. They did check this person out. They cleared him a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
People who are putting this person's name and house and vehicles and stuff out there public, just stop. No.
Yeah. Especially whenever you hear the reason why he does this, like the reason why he's a private driver, it's very personal to him. And it's just, it's unnecessary, the kind of crap that goes on in these cases like this.
One of the things I found very interesting was what they said about, and this was very hard to hear, so it's hard to talk about, was the way the girls were in the bed. I personally disagree with their assessment.
Yeah, me too.
So they were saying that Kaylee was trapped in there. Now, I just don't think it went down that way. I think it was normal for them to hang out and sleep in the same bed. But the fact that they had already been gone for many hours and the dog was in her room with the bed with the covers pulled back, because that's why I was looking for that photo.
Yeah.
I really think that they were hanging out together, couldn't get a hold of Jack like they wanted to, and then they just went to bed. And I really think that Murphy would have been in whatever room Kaylee went to sleep in. That's just, I say that as a dog owner. And they did take him out after they got home. So it's not like he was already asleep and they just didn't want to disturb him. They took him out. So that's what Olivia said.
Yeah,
So,
and we find out in the PCA that the body cams from the first responding officers find the dog in Kaylee's room. And I'm going to assume that meant behind a closed door.
Hi, Unravel.
But I don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember if the PCA mentions if the door was shut or not. I don't think they mentioned that. But it would make sense to me the dog would be in the room with the door shut, or else the dog probably would have been walking around the house. And like we questioned why there wasn't anything on the dog, but then we hear there's nothing in between the actual crime scenes to show that there's two different crime scenes and everything was contained to the bedrooms. And if the story is true that Christy is telling, Daniel from what she was told, Xana's door couldn't get open, I would assume that meant that Maddie's door was probably shut too. So I guess that could be a reason why the dog, even if he wasn't in the room at the time, wouldn't have anything on him. But just the fact that the dog was in Kaylee's room, most likely with the door shut whenever the cops got there, but wasn't like barking its head off, running around the house like a crazy mad chicken the whole 8 hours. That doesn't make sense. Especially if a dog was locked up in a room for 8 hours, they would have been extremely loud after a while.
Yeah.
So the whole no noises and nothing from this just definitely doesn't make any sense. I just don't believe it at all.
Well, when they described the room, specifically the bed that the girls were found in, said the bed was against the wall, the left wall. The headboard was against the wall. And Maddie was outside and Kaylee was by the wall. They were told by, Kathy Mabut prior to the gag order that Maddie was the first, then Kaylee. And then that's when Steve said, well, there's evidence that she woke up and tried to get out of the situation. And then Christy, that's when she said she was trapped. I think it was more like Kaylee was in her own bed and heard something going on, or Murphy alerted, and that may be what Dylan heard. Maybe he was jumping around upset because dogs can hear and smell like 10,000 times better than us. I can even think of getting up to go outside and my dogs are like, oh, hey, are we going outside? They
barely stand up in my chair to stretch and move my chair back from my desk, and they are alerted and up and ready to follow me, both of them, anywhere. I cannot go pee. It's like having little toddlers.
Yes,
I literally cannot go down the hallway and try to pee for more than 2 seconds. They are literally in the hall at the bathroom door, their paws right there where I can make sure that they're right there. My dogs follow me everywhere, and as close as Kaylee looked to Murphy and how cuddly they always were, that dog was everywhere with her. There's no way.
Oh, did she say that? I wanted to say first, here we go. Bree said it's so hard to make sense of this case because literally none of it makes sense. I completely agree. Angel says, then Kelly from What's the Obsession is adamant that Ethan was on the bed, not blocking the door. So it's all hearsay. I agree. I think I happen to agree with that. I think he was on the bed or at least up against that wall because, hello, the house was bleeding. And that's the wall. If you pull up the photos on Zillow, along that whole wall in Xana's room, there's like an inch crack between the floorboard and the floor. So there used to be like high pile of carpet in the room.
Oh, look, there's the other person bringing their trash can up. They hear that gravel.
And so there used to be high carpet in that room, but now there's a big, big gap. And so,
but couldn't that have been where somebody
was? I don't think so, because in the PCA it says that they saw her first, and then further in the room they saw him.
But see, that's not how. Well, maybe, but that's not how I read it. How I read it is the detective is walking down the hallway. And the door is however open it was whenever he got there, depending on if the story that Christy was given from the girls and apparently Hunter Johnson is true or not. It was open up enough to where he walked down the hall and looked through the door and could see Xana. And in my brain, in my imagination, listening to this and reading it, you're seeing Xana in the room, but across the room, like all the way across the room as you're looking through the doorway, but that Ethan would have been behind that door. That's why he was noticed afterwards. It's because of the path of sight as you're walking towards the area.
Well, let me show you this then. I think this will help. Hold this up here. Before we go, I'm going to show
I also
that.
think
this
that
here. This is the bed, how it was.
I also think that a lot of people are sticking to this. They were in the bed thing because of the coroner stuff. Because honestly, that's true for Maddie and Kaylee, but that doesn't really mean that it's true for Xana and Ethan.
So when this person came up the stairs, Kaylee's room was here, but they took a right and went into Maddie's room, and this is the bed. So Maddie would have been here, Kaylee would have been here, and I know that. Christy and Steve talked about, or was it Christy and Steve, or was it just in MJ's chat maybe? Somebody was saying, well, what if she tried to like get off the end of the bed?
Yeah, somebody commented that
because
on my
there's
video
the door.
too.
Yeah, the door opened inward, so he could have come inside and shut the door behind him for all we know. But
I mean, but if he's attacking Maddie,
heard something, right? The dog heard something. She came out and left Murphy there. Came into the room to see what in the heck was going on, and she walked in on him in the process of doing what he was planning to do.
Yeah.
And that enraged him. So he did what he did to her and threw her on the bed. That's personally what I think happened. And then he went to leave, and that made too much noise, and it may have alerted Xana, who was coming back down the hallway herself. And maybe they ran into each other. Let's see.
that's how I've always envisioned it. That she was asleep in her room, heard something, because Dylan heard something. So why wouldn't Kaylee on the same floor hear something if it was some sort of movement from there being an actual attack happening at the time? And she went to go check on Maddie.
And then let's go. Okay, no, I don't want to. That's just the video. Let me go to this here. Oh, wait.
Or the house thing, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go inside real quick. This is the best one. There's several people that have made these virtual tours, but this is just my favorite one. Okay. And I love that, by the way. Okay, so we all know that the camera, there's a lot of people that say that there was a camera here. I certainly remember something about a camera being up here, but I don't see it now. But
I remember there
over
being
here, right over here, I think it was this, straight up here, there was definitely another camera in the first or second slot right above, facing down, like in this angle. And I think that that's the camera that may have caught a lot of this as well.
I mean, yeah, it would have had to have been. I remembered there being blurred. A camera across the street there. Yeah, I noticed that. It was blurred out.
So we're going to go in here. Okay, so that's Bethany's room. So Bethany, if you remember where Bethany is, and then we go upstairs, Bethany would have been underneath the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So she wouldn't have heard any of this probably. And then he would have come around this corner, or he would have been coming down the stairs. She may have heard something and come back out, or she could have been going to the kitchen to throw away her food or whatever and ran into each other here. And then he may have chased her back in here and did what he did to them. I still don't understand, you guys, how even in the PCA it says that Dylan opened her door 3 times during this whole process. Didn't see anything until the 4th time that she opened the door, and there was this man coming at her.
Yeah.
But he would have had to cross that same exact path 3 times as well. How did she luck out not being seen, opening that door 4 times? I don't get it.
Not just that, but also the noise of the door opening and shutting.
Yes,
like how
my dear.
that wasn't being heard by the person, and they were like, "Oh crap, someone's awake, you know, even though someone just dropped off DoorDash and other people are already awake. Oh crap, someone else is awake. Like, it didn't alert them that this was not a good. All of the things that would have made someone with any sort of plan stop because it's not going to go as it should because of all these things. That's another thing that's just blowing my mind with all this.
Hey girl, what's up? Are you yelling for my attention? CrimeSleuthin. Oh, and you guys, if this is your first time in here, my name is Debbie. Call me CrimeSleuthin, call me Debbie. I don't care. But just so you know my name.
She said check Twitter.
Check Twitter. Okay, hold up. Let me go check Twitter. I figured something was up with the all caps. I was like, wait a minute. She's trying to get my attention. Let me go look at my DMs really quick. And again, if you've just joined us, thank you so much for being here. Oh, did she find what we were looking for? Well, let's see what this is.
Steve, thank you so much for making the time to be with us today. Just your first reaction to the news that a suspect has been arrested.
To me and my family, it feels like the first joy that we've had in 7 days, because it really is. You can't even smile when you have this over your head, and feels like a little bit of weight has been relieved and things are on the right track and we're moving in the right direction.
Was there anything in the press conference that the police just gave this afternoon that was not said to you as a parent in the situation? Did they leave something out that you wish the public knew about?
The whole struggle of communication and everything has gotten better every step of the way. I want to commend those police officers and everything that they've done, because it has been very difficult to work with all the media, especially me being so vocal. I think it's gotten better, and I really appreciate that they've made some adjustments for our family, and we've noticed those things.
Steve, I was telling our colleagues that there has been a different tone from you today as we got this good news that they did indeed catch the suspect. When we were talking earlier today, one of the things that stuck out to you was this guy was not from Moscow. He was an outsider.
Yes, the community is real in Idaho, and Idaho made a stance, and I wanted to be a part of that, to where we said, hey, this is not our new normal. We're not going to allow this messaging to be our new normal, and we're going to put our foot down, and we're going to pull in every resource that we can. We have nothing to hide. If we have to pull in forces because we're close to a location that, jurisdictions are there, we're still going to come together and unify for this. And I really feel like that's what happened. I mean, there was some forces that pulled us apart, but in the end, we all became together. And we have a celebration of life today, and we actually have hope that we have somebody in custody that is a person of interest. And of course, he's innocent until proven guilty, but that's a lot better off than we were, 48 hours ago.
Steve, why was it important today for you to have that memorial service for not only Kaylee, but for Maddie? With this being the day that it is, why did you guys decide you're going to push through and you're going to have this celebration of life for your daughters?
It was important for us to have this person of interest in custody so they weren't possibly in that audience, because we made it open.
Hey, Teresa, do I need to play it further for him to say that? I do remember Christy said before this, like a few days or maybe a week before this, that they weren't comfortable having the memorial or her funeral until they knew that this person was off the street because they were scared they were going to show up. Still don't you see him saying it though? Oh, keep going. All right, honey.
Okay.
And we knew if we made ourselves vulnerable like that, we didn't want somebody to be taking advantage of that and feeding off that. Or we definitely don't want to feed somebody who's, a predator to our environment. So it's nice that we have this closure. There's a lot of prayers going across America.
Steve, it's Kennedy. Everyone here at Fox, we pray for you, and we hope that God continues to sustain all of your families through this unspeakable tragedy. I know that you have done so much work, and you have been so vocal, and you have done so much investigation. And I'm just wondering, had you heard the name Bryan Kohberger before today?
No, we had not. That's just completely honest. Everything was kept under the wraps. The investigation did everything they could to keep this away from the public, to keep the jury untainted, do everything by the book, and I believe they've done an amazing job of that.
Steve, it's Jimmy. As a parent, I can't imagine what you're going through, but one of the things we have found heartening with a tragedy.
There? What do you mean there? He said no, they didn't have his name in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what he just said?
Yeah, but they go back and forth so much. So many of us remember that interview.
Yeah.
Daniel is verified that Christy did tell them that yes,
he says they
had
didn't
the
know.
name.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he says they didn't. But yeah,
Okay.
they've gone back and forth. They've gone back and forth with a lot of things. So it's really just 50-50. They did or they didn't at this point, because we're not going to know probably. I mean, that's not something that's crime related, so that's honestly a detail they're probably never going to really tell us and validate.
So this is Xana's room. I'm going to show you guys. They took them all down, but if you were like me and got in here and got a whole bunch of screenshots before they could do that, you might have gotten these photos early. Let me go find it here. These Zillow. So they don't have these anymore on the website. Hold on. Is it this one? Okay, here's Zillow. All right.
It's hard to look at that photo with like the story of what Christy said.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me find that room here. All right. This is Bethany's room because this is on the front, this end. Okay. Is it not going to let me just go through? Oh, it's opening in a window. Don't like that. Okay. I'm going to show you that room, this one that we're looking at here, because it's not, this is not exactly accurate. Yeah, it's not exactly accurate. I'm going to find the other one. Here's an actual photo of the living room. We come this way, and then, is this it? Here it is. Is this it? No, this is the bottom floor. Hold on, guys. I haven't looked at these in a while.
Yeah, that would have been the
This
room
is it.
that the golf clubs and stuff were in that body cam, that other photo.
Now, this is the right one, correct? This one is Anna's room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is not a great photo of it, though. Yep, this is the only one I have. Okay. So you can see, I thought I had another photo facing this way, and I don't.
Oh, to show the floorboard, the gap?
Yes. Where is that? No, wait. Maybe this is it. No, whose room was this?
That's facing that brick wall.
facing this side. This is the back. I don't even know, you guys. I haven't looked at these in, gosh, months. There's one of these photos that you can see. This is the front. See these gaps right
Yeah,
here?
I see it. Yeah.
This is on one of the photos that I had where underneath was a big gap, and it was in one of the bedrooms, but I don't see the photo now. I might not have saved it before they took it down. But this is what it looked like on the back part of that bedroom, like right where that bed would have been. And I don't know where it's at now. I don't like to waste time looking for things. All right, get out of that. It was on that wall right there. And this virtual thing is too narrow right here. That room was wider. But,
yeah, that's those weird cameras they use for that. Makes it looks funny.
Mm-hmm. And then that was Maddie's room. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
That
The
door
door
doesn't look right.
Nope, the door's there we go. Yeah, because that's the bathroom.
It's like, what's going on with the door? Yeah, that's it.
The way they used to have this virtual tour, this is Kaylee's. You could control it, but now they changed it around. This would have been Dylan's view, right? Yeah, Dylan's view peeking out the bedroom. However, whoever made this, there was this light, right? But over there, if
It's
you
in
look
the
at
hallway,
the
isn't it?
No, this is correct, but they forgot that over here there was a table here, and there was a little light here, and then over here on this wall was a large string of Christmas lights.
Is your screen black?
Is my
Or
screen?
am I
Yeah.
just seeing black. Okay.
Can you see it?
I mean, is this supposed to be the room with the lights off?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, why
Yep,
is
that's
it dark?
supposed to be the room with the lights off.
Okay.
To show what Dylan would have seen. However, it's off. It's wrong because there was a lot more light in this room, and I will show you on their TikTok that I had saved. Pull that up real quick. Got it right here. Okay. All right. Let's wait for it to load. Oh, don't do it. Nope. There we go. I'm going to leave the music off just because of copyrights, you know? So that was the kitchen. Aw, Murphy.
He's so floofy.
Okay, so the living room. When you come up, see there was lights right here. And then there was a little lamp here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll show the living room in just a second, too. See all those lights over there on that wall?
Yeah. And I doubt that those were turned off at night.
So
They're
there
all
was a
very
lot more light, and I bet you the hall light might have been on at some point during all this. But there were all these lights over here as well. It was not as dark as they're trying to make it seem like in that, because there was a whole bunch of lights. I have the same thing.
So then in reality, thinking about it
But I
like
bet you
this,
there was a lot.
there's a possibility that Dylan actually saw facial features, not just bushy eyebrows, because of the lighting. Unless she only looked for
Mhm.
like a millisecond,
Yep.
and that's all that her
It's a
brain
lot more
registered
like
with.
the only. What is this right here? Is that a? It's not a TV because
So the
there's already a
speaker,
TV over here and right there. See it? Is that a glowing speaker?
I mean, I've had them. Yep, that's what that
Yeah,
is. That's a
speaker. Yep. So there was lights in the window. There were lights hanging here. There was a glowing speaker, and there were lights on the wall, and the lamp over here. So this room was not dark.
Yeah.
I bet you it
Yeah,
wasn't
and
much.
even with everything else turned
darker
off, there's
than you
still that
see here.
string light. I highly doubt the string lights are turned off.
Exactly. Yeah, I've always left mine all the time up. She was so beautiful.
No. She
So
actually reminds
sad.
me a lot of my sister. She's
So
shaped
that's
just
why
like
I'm
my sister.
saying this is a little bit off, in my opinion. But okay, so let me go on to the next thing here. So Olivia did a lot of interviews early on. Let me see if I remember if I can see which one this was here. Let me move this back out of the way. Don't need it right now. Weren't they precious?
Mm-hmm. And you know, they didn't look like fake
And
happy.
I'm going to.
They looked real happy.
I know, right? Yes,
Sad.
totally. I'm going to play that in just a second. I'm going to check chat really quick. I haven't even looked at chat in like 5 minutes. Hi, Peyton. Hey, Seabreeze. Hey, Lily. Eva Marie. Hi. Kelly. Kelly Land. Hello. Richie. Hi. How you guys doing? I call BS. Hi. That could totally be my name most days.
Oh, Miss Lily C sent a super something with a question.
Oh, I see it now. Miss Lily C, thank you so much. She says, thank you, Sleuthin and Jules, mods, and chat. What if Bethany heard all the chaos, ran out the house, and the car circling around is actually searching for her? Just a thought. Huh.
Well, see, and I can see how that could be a thought that someone would have, because one of the things that we heard in the beginning was that a woman was seen running from the house. And I've questioned if that was legit or not, because obviously we hear at this point there ain't no way they didn't hear nothing. So it's very possible that someone could have ran out of the house in fright for a few minutes, but I don't know. The whole car thing just drives me insane. It really does.
Did you see Kelly or what it was What's the Obsession, wasn't it? That just did a video about
what she apparently saw. Yeah,
about what Bethany saw. If you
I
guys
did a
haven't
video
seen
about
that, go check that out and see. You did a video on it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, so just forget everybody. Just go see Jules' video.
Well, I mean, if y'all want to go watch her video on it, I have the link in my description. Just go to like 22 minutes because she goes on forever for no reason and then finally gets to the point. But apparently she's talking about this.
That's like my thing too. That's one of the things that I have trouble with when I go live. I can't if I have to get to the title of my live as soon as possible. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, and apparently people were telling me in the comments, because I don't watch her. Like, it's not for that reason of her, you know, it takes a while for her to get to the point. For some reason, I just don't gravitate towards her. I don't have a reason. I just don't. So I don't know as far as all of that goes, but I had people in the comments saying there's a couple of lives where she mentions more of this, but I just don't know how legit her information actually is, because honestly, these frats kind of have something to protect in the situation. And I've been being told from people since I posted that Greek life doesn't talk. So a lot of people have a lot of issues with the fact that this chick is claiming that she's got these frat people talking to her and telling her all this inside information, which I kind of agree with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't
know. Okay, I'm going to play this video. This is a really, really early one from Olivia, and it's still very interesting to me as to what she was saying about everything very early. I'm going to play this really quick. and it's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So here we go.
Going back, they always had each other and met, you know, in the 5th, 6th grade, and that was it. Like there was just no going back. They always had each other, and Karen, Maddie's mom, has said, you know, and she's always said, you just need one good friend in life, and they were each other's one good friend, for better or for worse, because they had plenty of their fights. Honestly, most of the time at Kaylee's fault. They did everything together, and so it's unfortunate that they had to experience this tragedy together. But we are taking a bit of consolation in knowing that they weren't alone. You know, we can't imagine what they went through, but it feels a little bit easier to swallow knowing that they had each other. And to the individual who did this, your days are numbered. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And I would put everything in me on that. We have a lot of support from local authorities, from state authorities, from the FBI, as well as 4 families. I'm just one piece of that.
And we're not going to settle for that. I found neighbors' Ring camera footage so that I can verify that the Uber driver took her home.
Well, there's that, Jules. She said she
See?
found. Yeah.
So if she saw it in a Ring camera, why would she change up her story on 48 hours to, oh, I verified it via a text? You're verifying the driver. You're verifying that they took the drive from that driver. But did you verify the time that he dropped them off because what he told you? Or did you actually look at a Ring camera? Like, that's kind of important. Because they came out telling everyone, no, the cops have it wrong. They're refusing to fix it, so we're going to fix it. So if they're going to come out that strong, I kind of need them to be, you know, forthright about how they found out.
Yeah, I'm going to find her actual quote from the show.
It was, yeah, the show for sure says it's a text message. Or at least mentions that it's a text message. Actually, you know what? She doesn't mention the Ring cam at all in her little segment.
Yeah, she says she went into detective mode. She pulled up Kaylee's phone records. And from there, she was able to locate the private driver and time that they arrived home, 1:56 a.m.
See? So was that because there was like a notification that the person sent her via text saying, I dropped you off at 1:56 a.m. for their own like credibility? Or was it actually a Ring cam? Because there's been a lot of camera.
The private driver was the one that told her that they picked the girls up from the grub truck.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how she found that footage. And that she also found out through the recent calls that they had been at the corner club. And she said she turned all that over to the police.
Yeah.
And I remember they were really frustrated because they had, they felt that the timeline was wrong and that 15 minutes could make all the difference.
Yeah. So I don't know why she didn't mention the Ring camera in the document. Why? I mean, in the doc, why are you changing it now that you're on, you know, a different camera a few months later? Did you watch this on the camera that we've all been questioning? Because like I said, there's a lot of already, there's issues with this family and cameras. We all know that. So I really wish that they wouldn't change everything that they've said, because it really seems like they flip-flopped on everything. Which, I mean, on wanting to, you know, on wanting to know that, you know, in their minds that maybe the girls were together and them having their own hypothesis on that, I can kind of understand. But when it comes to this sort of stuff that's supposed to be validated, we kind of need it to be clear.
Yeah, it's gone back and forth on a few things here, and this was one of them. Let me see what else she says here.
Can y'all hear my kid? Sorry, he's crazy.
Yes, absolutely adorable. Okay.
Yeah, he's playing Plants vs. Zombies and getting a little bit too into it.
2:26 a.m. Kaylee starts to call Jack. Kaylee calls Jack 6 times between 2:26 a.m. to 2:44 a.m.
There's no boy problem. There's no threat. There's no high-risk lifestyle that could have indicated this. It has taken all of us completely by shock, and we have absolutely no ideas. None. This happened in a small town, and I absolutely understand that local authorities were probably overwhelmed, and I don't blame them at all. They did exactly what they should have done.
Peyton, I did say hi to you. Hi, Peyton. Hello, hello, hello. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You feel better now?
But we're losing critical time, and I want more coverage. I want more done. I understand that we can't release information. It's an ongoing investigation. I don't ask for that. I don't want to impede on anything, but I want more people speaking out. And if that takes the police to push that agenda, that's fine. But unfortunately, I feel like it's been me and the families pushing that agenda.
Okay. Oh. I didn't even who turned Nightbot on for me? Thank you. All right. See, there's Jules, you take this one.
I mean, bro, they could have. Look, you can't tell my 16-year-old that these roommates are not the ones who did this. It doesn't matter what she's heard me talk about.
Really?
No, she doesn't give a damn what comes out. Because there was no blood outside the house that the canines found, and because of the way the crime scene was and the 8-hour gap, you cannot tell her anything else. She is convinced, and there ain't nothing gonna change her mind.
Now here's this one up here, and it just went by because I've got it on a slideshow. The one that we talked about before the live about where the sheath was found on Maddie's right side.
Right.
People get that confused. They think that her right side means that it was between them, and it wasn't. It was on the outside.
Yeah, no, if you look at the way that they would have been laying in the bed, that would have been literally on the edge of the bed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that one slide right before this, like we mentioned when we were talking earlier, that is the only validation we have for the positioning of the bodies. Everything else has just been stuff we've heard, because we have heard before Kaylee was sort of on top of Maddie, but then the way that the parents are coming out with their hypothesis, it's more like, to me, to say Kaylee was trapped, it would almost mean Maddie would have had to have been sort of like leaning up against her a little bit. So it's really hard. It's just really hard to try to really kind of figure out what exactly they saw whenever they saw the scene.
Yeah. Here's what Steve said at the memorial.
They've been friends since 6th grade. We both put them in a charter academy. They felt like they were being punished. 6th grade, they just found each other. And every day they did homework together. They came to our house together. They shared everything. They convinced us, they made a proposal to go to high school, to a regular high school. So then they went to high schools together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together.
Hi,
They
Laughing
eventually get into
Stock.
the same apartment together. And in the end, they died together in the same room, in the same bed. And it's a shame, and it hurts. But the beauty of the two always being together is something that it comforts us. It lets us know that they were with their best friends in the whole world. It's like a book. It's like some kind of terrible chapter, but there's beauty in it. And we're going to get our justice. We're going to figure this stuff out. This community deserves that. And when I look at all you guys, there's only one way for this to get a little better, to heal a little bit. There's pain everywhere. You're just going to have to love each other. You guys are just going to have to hug each other. You're going to have to be a little awkward, and you're just going to have to share. And the only cure to pain is love.
I wasn't sure why I got a little more of that than I needed to. Let's see, what did... No, I believe Kaylee was Dylan's.
It was.
Yeah,
it was
not-
Kaylee.
not
And
Maddie.
that's one of the issues that I have with this case, is that we've been told from the family from the beginning that there was like a hesitance for Kaylee to even want to go back there that weekend, even with that +1 situation. It
This
wasn't
is a
until
good
she got her
question.
car that she wanted to go back. And yeah, the drains, I've been asking about the drains since we heard about the 8-hour delay.
Yeah, I would love to know that too.
Yep.
Okay, so what else stood out for you in the show? I know you guys, she did a video on her reaction as well to this. Let's see.
I find it interesting that, number one, whenever they're talking about the phone calls to Jack, they say boyfriend. No, the hell he wasn't. There was an ex-boyfriend. And they say one phone call when we know damn well it was like back-to-back 10 phone calls between both of the girls, and Maddie making one of the phone calls isn't even mentioned.
Yes, they also went on to describe how is it that Brian's cell phone had pinged nearby 12 times prior.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that he scoped out the house, and Christy said that she believed he had even gone inside
The
and
day
looked around.
before.
Yeah.
That's a very specific statement.
So I'm going to go to, not many people have, well, I mean, a lot of people have seen it, but so I can get it real quick. So right here, this was an interview that was up for a while. It was up for like a day, and then it was taken down off of that website.
Oh, I've had a lot of comments about that Hex crypto hat that Steve keeps wearing.
I know, right?
Like, hey, guys, I invest in crypto too. It doesn't mean like I'm a psycho, so it's fine.
Let me find it real quick. I think I wrote on the... Was it here? Okay, hold on.
Seabreeze, I've asked that question about HVAC because I noticed that too, and I don't... That's one of the big questions I've always had, is why the HVAC truck was there the next day, like the day. Yeah, super curious.
Hey, Misha girl, how are you? All right, I'm going to play this. This is from that interview that got pulled. It was like the very same day. Listen to what he says about Brian's cell phone.
You don't think there's going to be some kind of connection that will explain this?
No, what kind would? I mean, like, my girl's bullying him, or, you know, what kind of behavior could explain somebody being this brutal to another human being? I mean, he was probably obsessed with just their overall looks and their social media accounts and the fact that they were close, you know?
Makes you sick. It's sickening, I'm sure, to see the information that came out in the affidavit about how he had been by the house multiple times prior to the murders as well. I don't know if you guys knew that early on.
Yeah, and close enough that he was touching their Wi-Fi. His phone was touching their Wi-Fi. Yeah, so you know how close that is. If you've had a laptop, you walk out to your front yard, you're not going to get too far. So
I don't think I saw that part.
Okay, but his phone was off, apparently off network. You can't connect to the Wi-Fi if your phone is off or on airplane mode.
He's talking about the other 12 times that he
That's what
came
he means?
close. Yeah. He's saying that the other times that he was coming around and stalking, that he was apparently, either he could have been going inside for all we know. But he was close enough to touch the Wi-Fi. And like he said, you know how close that is.
Right, but you have to have a password to even connect to people's Wi-Fi.
No, just to touch on it. Okay,
for it to be like an option.
Correct. If everywhere you go, if you have your Wi-Fi on and your phone is constantly scanning for Wi-Fi connections, right? The ones that are close by. And I know businesses put out a wider range, but home Wi-Fi is very close. Like you have to be in the yard or in the house.
Yeah.
Really close to the house, like 50 feet, usually 75 max for a really good Wi-Fi router.
Yeah.
So he's saying that they have a record, an electronic record of him, his cell phone touching on the Wi-Fi. That is even better than a ping, is what I'm saying.
I mean, it is if it's true, because if that's the case, then how can the defense stand up in front of court and say there's no connection between him and the victims?
Well, the defense is saying
they
that.
can't lie. Yeah, they can't lie.
They can't.
That's the problem.
Lie, but they can use legalese in a way.
Yeah.
Or
so in
they can
a
say
legalese
version.
version,
That moment.
Okay, so then in a legalese version, what else could it mean by the defense claiming that there's no connection between him and the victims?
I really
if
don't
it
know.
doesn't
That's
truly
why all this
mean.
is so confusing, right?
And that's why I wish we knew if in this, I mean, I don't believe that they would be including the 2 surviving roommates in their victims in that sentence, because the case has nothing to do with Dylan and Bethany. Their names are not on the docket. But I mean, it is still possible that there is a connection between him and Dylan, or him and Bethany, and maybe it has nothing to even do with these 2, and it has nothing to do with him being the one to do it either. I don't know. This
Right.
whole thing is just so confusing. I wish that it was just not such a volcano.
So in this screenshot that y'all see up here that I took, this is from the grub truck video, and this is about 7 minutes before the girls arrived. That white car pulled up there that you see up here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this in the window. You had to zoom in the window behind the people. And the car had pulled in there, stopped for about 5 seconds, and then backed out, and then went back toward the corner club again. I thought that was really weird. I couldn't get quite a really good shot of the car, but it was a white car. It was like a white sedan.
Yeah.
You know? That's one of the early little screenshots that I got that I've always just kind of wondered about.
But see, like at the time that this would have been in there, Brian wouldn't have even have been out of his apartment yet, right? Well, then again, we don't really, but we don't really, honestly, we don't really know that. We only know that they're claiming that, you know, he apparently left his apartment at X amount of time and his phone off network X amount of time. But well, I guess we might have known that, because didn't they pull his record for like all of the 12th? Like first and foremost, wasn't it like the 12th or the 14th or something like that? That's how they knew that he went back the next morning, but didn't go back on that other ping, that it was like a false ping, because they put that in the PCA too.
And we also don't know if this bag is the bag.
Yep,
like if
we don't.
If you look here, that drink looks week old.
Yeah, I always call it crusty because it's just gross looking.
It looks like
been
very
there forever.
old beer is what it looks like. And
I mean, it just looks like
pointed to the
nasty
plant
Starbucks.
as well. Like there's dirt, but they're college kids. There's a sink full of dishes as well. Who cares? It's kind of, I have the exact same soap in my kitchen. The exact same soap. But like, we don't know if that's the bag. There was actually another one on the table that said the same thing. And I think that it's either, it could have been a different order, or it could have been the same bag that they moved over to the table. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, I know my own daughter, and she'd kill me for saying this. She would have like a whole week's worth of bags in her kitchen, you know? Like an order from, 2 or 3 different places all on her counter.
And see, and that's another thing,
you know?
That's another thing that bothers me about this case. Like, in a normal conversation, knowing what food they had delivered wouldn't need to be such a mystery. So why is it such a mystery if it has nothing to do with anything? Why can't they just be like, oh, Xana received a DoorDash order from Buffalo Wild Wings at 4:00 in the morning? Like, why all of this ridiculousness over something so simple?
Hi,
that bothers
Paula.
me.
Paula says hi to us. Hey,
Hi,
how are
hi.
you doing? Hi, Ellen. How are you? Good to see you. Has anyone reversed photoed the bag? No. I mean, we could tell that it was definitely a DoorDash order. That's what they all look like. That's what mine look like. But we don't know if it's from that night. Juniper, hello. Here's a good question. Why would Ann Taylor say that Bethany had exculpatory evidence unless Brian told her about some contact with her directly or indirectly? Maybe Bethany knew Kopaka. We're not bringing Kopaka into this.
I've thought about this. And actually, I am going to talk about Kopaka not being.
Go right ahead.
Not
We
right
can agree
here.
to disagree.
Not right here. Not him technically being involved in the situation, because I don't see any evidence of that. But the situation with him himself, the information that's come out afterwards about that entire situation is so sketchy just in itself. So I do eventually plan on talking about that situation. But I've wondered that exact question. How would he know that she had something exculpatory unless he actually knew them and would know that? Which is why I've always questioned, okay, does the victims include Dylan and Bethany? But then I thought about it some more. And you know, there's things that Brian and his team would have gone over by now, including witness statements. Anything that the cops would have had report-wise on this case. So maybe there's just something in her statement that he's like, no, this right here proves that this has nothing to do with me. And it could literally just be that, something that was read in a document. It might not even have anything to do with the fact that he knows for sure she does know something because he personally knows her. It could just be documentation. Possibly. That's just my thoughts.
Gotcha. Angel says because defense would have access to all the witness interviews, etc. So Ann Taylor will know what BF saw.
Yep.
I think they know by now.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they don't, that's a problem, honestly.
This is a screenshot of the same exact knife and how, like they're saying that the DNA was on the snap.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it would have happened from touching it. I know, of course, you would wear gloves during this incident.
You would think so.
And I've often wondered, I want to know if maybe the DNA was under here or inside there.
That's the part I wish that we knew.
That's more believable to me. If it's in here, then I'm going to be like, yeah, he just didn't clean it well enough. But if they only found his DNA like right here, that's going to be questionable to me.
Yeah, because that could have been from anything.
Well, because if he touched it here and didn't clean that well enough, but he did clean this well enough after handling this knife that he bought,
make any sense.
That would not make any sense, right?
Mm-mm. And see, I had someone in the comments talking about the possibility of how the knife chief would have gotten there anyway, like in the actual like attack happening. And if you notice, I mean, this has been talked about before. That's not like a snap-on sheath. You have to loop your belt through that damn thing. So that's why I wondered if what Kaylee, because in my mind, just like you think, Kaylee heard something, walked down there and walked in on something. I'm wondering if the person's belt was undone because they were about to try to do something to Maddie.
That is exactly what I think.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was so enraged that somebody came in that he just flipped on her.
Yeah, that's possible. It's totally possible. But that could have been, you know.
And we also have to keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I was only a legal secretary and legal front desk receptionist. I did a lot of work for them. I was like their gopher. I learned a lot. I set up the conference rooms and helped with depositions, all this kind of stuff. So I learned a lot, but like, I'm not a lawyer. But I can tell you from my experience with helping with cases, I worked at a defense law firm. The charges are always in the order in which they believe the incidents happened. So we have KMXE.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry, MKXE. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan. And interestingly enough, when the girls, when the survivors got their tattoos, they were also MKXE.
Yeah,
and
they were in order
because they were told what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just kind of, or they just knew, you know, or I don't know, but it's kind of weird.
That was early.
Yeah, it was like within 2 weeks they got those tattoos, and they're in the exact same order as the charges, and that was before Brian was arrested. Remember?
Oh yeah. It was a way before Brian was probably even on their radar.
Exactly. It was around the same date, like I believe. Oh, and that's another thing that I'm going to bring up from this special that I haven't heard anybody else bring up because I've watched everybody else's lives and videos on this, even yours. Nobody has brought this up, and I want to know why.
What did I miss?
Okay. Let me find my notes because I want to read exactly how I put it. Hang on. Because I was like, why is nobody mentioning this? Is it totally stood up to me? You might have mentioned it. I'm not sure. Hold on. Gosh. Nope. All right, it's going to be my shorthand. Hang on. It's on the DNA. So in the special, they said, oh, here it is. Okay. So in the special, I'm so sorry, you guys. I did not feel well all day today, so I did not rewrite this part. Okay, I just put see other notebook. So, Miss Fox, a retired FBI agent, she went over what she called the investigatory timeline.
Mhm.
She said that they reviewed footage, they got him doing 3 passes, right? And an hour later, he struck, then sped off 4:20. 5:30 was back in Pullman. Then she goes, that information helped police determine that it was possibly a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, that they got the plate, got his name, saw his eyebrows, got the warrant, got his phone records, and that's how they got him.
But that's
They
not
made
true.
no mention. Exactly. That is all. I wrote it down exactly how she said it. And I was like, okay, why are they leaving out the IGG tip? Right?
Well, why are
Instead
they
of
leaving?
leaving the
No, why are
plate.
they leaving out? Why are they leaving out WSU finding his name in the parking registration and seeing the car on 11/29 and knowing exactly what the
Exactly.
hell he looked like right then and there at like 12:36 in the morning?
Because we all know that none of that's right. What she said in the special, none of that was correct. That's not how they found him at all.
No, it's not. And
They never
Dago
saw his
made
plate.
Dago made a point in his live on Monday that she says something about the car, the Brianna Fox chick. The car shows up at like 4:06 and is there for like 25 minutes. That puts the timestamp like 10 minutes past the time the PCA is telling us. So I'm just going to assume she misspoke because that's not accurate because they're giving us like an 8-minute timeline for the actual attack.
See private chat real quick. Okay. Yeah, the IGG thing. I was like, why are they completely leaving that out instead of, and she bluntly said that they got his plate number. They
Yeah,
did not
I don't
get his
remember
plate
them
number.
saying they had a plate at all in the PCA. Like they could see that in one of the things, I think that the car had one plate, but they never could see a plate number, which I never understood for how high tech as these cameras are.
Exactly. And then they said they caught his car leaving Pullman, that they caught him in Moscow. And then they said he made his 13th trip the day of the unalivings. She
Mhm.
said criminals always go back to the scene. So she said at that point they had the knife sheath and his DNA. The DNA was on the button snap, but it didn't show up in CODIS. So mid-December, December 15th was the day that they drove to Pennsylvania and were stopped twice. I have an interview that they did the same day. And did I put a date on this? Hang on.
Yeah, I still question those pullovers. So strange.
Uh-huh. Where is December 15th? So they had actually done an interview on the exact same day. Maybe it's in the other one. Hang on. Let me look through this. Bear with me. It's not that one. They had done an interview the same day. And there's the instant I showed.
Bree, he moved there in June. Like literally around the exact same time that Kaylee moved into King Road because she was previously living in some sort of apartment. It was around the exact same time that he moved to WSU. So it would have literally been like, what was it, June to November. So however many weekends that is. I mean, it's really not a lot. I mean, if you really think about it, less than once a week going over to that area, honestly.
This one says go to 12:30. Let me see what I bookmarked on this real quick. 12:30.
Most people have.
We actually have premium. I just need to set it up on this computer. Add it to this account, I mean.
Conspiracies and everything in between.
How did you first find out, Olivia, that there was an arrest?
My mom actually told me I had been staying at her house. Me and my husband were upstairs, and she came up the stairs. It was probably around 11 o'clock at night, the day before the arrest had been made. At the time, we didn't know what state, and we didn't even have a name. We just knew that a suspect was in custody.
And what was your reaction?
So I'm just going to say this. When she said we didn't have a name, her eyes darted away from the camera lens. And that's all I'm going to say.
And I just want to point out the time. Okay, so 11 o'clock her time would have been 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. in Pennsylvania where he was arrested.
So then basically like getting their squad together and about to head out is about the time that they would have called them.
Yeah. I think that they did get a little bit of a heads up. Yeah.
Oh, I think they did. I really do.
Yeah, that's what she says. She said she had time. She said that there would be a few minutes. Let me see if this might have been where she said it. Hang on, let me see.
And when you were able to read through, I think I was texting you. I was in line in court trying to read the affidavit on my phone. What was your reaction when you were first able to read through all of it?
Yeah, to be honest, I think that that's been the hardest part of this, is to sit back and look at the totality of it. When my sister was FaceTiming me about a new egg bites recipe, he was planning his next visit to the home. And that's really difficult. It's really difficult not to wish that you had done more, wish that you had known more. But it's just the first step. A lot more evidence will come out. And I'm confident that Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI have the right person. And I thank them from the very bottom of my heart.
Yeah, I had never really thought about it that way. When you go through the timeline and the affidavit and see all the dates of when the cell phones pinged, you can actually go back. And I know you talk to your sister every day. You can actually go back and think of your conversations from those specific times.
Yeah, you know, the August 21st date, I can go back and remember the conversation that I had with Kaylee that day, and how normal everything was, and the fact that we had no idea. She had no idea. I had no idea that true evil was genuinely watching them.
So this is certainly something that your family never envisioned that you would be going through. But I think what's so amazing about you guys is you're already trying to turn this tragedy into good in some way. Can you talk a little bit about, I know you're in the early stages of perhaps setting up a foundation to remember Kaylee, but tell me about your family's plans going in that direction.
Yeah, so from the beginning, we've definitely wanted to set up something that's Kaylee and Maddie's legacy going forward. But for, up until there was an arrest made, we weren't really sure what that meant, what exactly we were standing for and standing against. And now that we are starting to be able to put some of those pieces together, we're really, I guess, excited. I don't know if that's the right word, to be able to set up a foundation or a nonprofit or something in the girls' honor in some way, to be able to help other families like us the best way that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll be looking forward to that.
Well, it's not in that one, is it? Where somebody in chat had just said, she said she had a few minutes.
No, that's in the doc. That's in the 48-hour one. She says something along the lines of, I knew I only had a few minutes before things got wonky, is how she put it.
And here's December 31st, where Steve said that cops never mentioned suspect's name. Everything was kept under wraps. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they could just be telling. They could have misspoke. Honestly, they could have. They might be trying to sound like they have more information from the cops internally than they actually do. Because I mean, it's kind of becoming apparent that they're not even getting stories that match up. The family themselves.
So this is the drunk turkey here. I'm gonna play this little section.
Okay.
As I believe what
If
he
you
told
own your
me.
home in Oklahoma
Yeah.
but still rent your electricity, if you pay.
Let me see what else I wanted to bring up. So there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up that they had talked over with, and it's been out there, and so it's fine.
See, he said it's been out there.
They were aware of the arrest of Brian they were aware that Brian Koberger was going to be arrested a few hours before he was arrested, a couple hours or so, right? And Blue, let me ask you, what would be the first thing that you would do if you had that information? That, hey, this is the guy that's responsible for this.
It was me.
Hey, he's across the country. You can't go do anything.
I would just, I'd be kind of like,
I'd be looking up.
Yeah, I'd be looking up who he is if I got the name.
Right. If you got the name, you would look him up, right? And you look.
Tony, leave that ad on. Was she parody? You're funny. Yeah, I believe Daniel. I mean, he told me very specifically in email that he was told.
That's what they were told.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
I'm about to have to hop off because I got a whole plate of lime cilantro chicken tacos sitting in front of me, and my nose can't take much more.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to show this real quick so everybody can see it for themselves. All right. So I asked him specifically. She told me they were giving his name before his arrest. See? Oh, there it is. It's my email with Daniel. So I like to go to the source and get it from, because I was like, well, maybe he misspoke or something, But I'm going to keep going. If you need to leave, I know you said you had until around 8:30, so that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, it's taco night. My daughter cooked. She'll be upset if I don't eat.
Nice. Her daughter. Her daughter's a cook, Bree.
Yeah, she's a taco psycho. So on Tuesdays she cooks tacos.
Well, I'm gonna keep going through this, and got a little ways to go, and then I will finish up. So thank you so much for coming up here, girl.
Okay. Do you want to do a live maybe in a week or so about the Delphi case?
Oh, yes.
Okay, we will
Sure.
talk. We will talk and schedule because I want to discuss because I am mind blown about all of the things. So yeah, we'll talk about that and we'll schedule something.
You guys is crazy. Go to my community page if anybody wants to catch up, because Teresa with Criminality did a really good live, 4 hours long. I don't like long lives, but that one was worth it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages to go over for sure.
a lot.
It's gonna be it'll be a lot to watch. Okay, I'm gonna hop down, you guys. Y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all next time when we talk about Delphi. Okay, bye, you guys.
Absolutely. Bye, Jules. See you
Bye.
later, girl.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Would anybody else like to come up here with me? I could open up the panel, or if anybody would like to come up and join me at this point, let me know in chat and I will drop the link for you. Let's see. So while I'm waiting, this is the interview in which Steve had said that all was forgiven once they got Brian arrested.
About some of the information in the affidavit, it seemed as though the police had their eyes on this suspect within 2 weeks of the crimes being committed, and yet for 4 more weeks, he was in Moscow, he was in Pullman, he was crossing the country. And I wanted to get
Get
your
out,
thoughts
girl.
just on the notion that there were so many other people, classmates, neighbors, both in Washington and in Pennsylvania, who may have been at risk because they were so close to him before he was actually brought in cuffs. What were your thoughts about that?
I think we all kind of shared that as a community, that there was a risk of somebody being out there. And I took that very personal, because I had so much weight on top of me, and I knew all these other victims that were associated with my family were being hurt with just overall media and coverage. But these guys, there's no perfect way to do this. And these officers they just did an amazing job. And I was hard on them, and I'll come out and say that I owe them all the gratitude in the world, and I've always supported the police. But it's the school of thought that I come from. Like, everybody can do their best, and they need to come to the every day trying to be the best person that they can possibly be. So I won't back off of that, but these guys did an amazing job. They need more credit than they had. I mean, people think Idaho is so old fashioned and out back, but these guys, they hit a home run, man. That affidavit is impressive. And I'm glad to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong. And I told them to their face. I looked them in their eyes and said, prove me wrong, and all is forgiven. And here.
Hello, Will B. How are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me well?
I can. How are
I'm
you?
doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Doing good. Okay, so somebody else said they wanted to come up, but Miss Lily, if you want to come on up, I don't do cameras. You don't have to do camera. I call BS. Let's see. I think they had said something about wanting to come up, but yeah, I put the link in chat. If anybody wants to come up, I'll put it one more time. I'll be wrapping up here in just a little bit anyway. I know, right? Truth Seeker, the PC is impressive. Okay, maybe they felt that way at the time, but it sounds like he's kind of changed his mind. In this interview on 48 Hours, he said he's still open to the possibility of it being someone else. So I think that says a lot about what he thinks now, right? About all the evidence. What do you think, Wilby?
I just think I got from it that he just wants to keep an open mind. Not that he has a hard thought that it might be someone else, but he wants to get it right no matter what. He wants the guilty person to be convicted and not the wrong person to be convicted.
Right. I have Bridget here. I'm going to add her. Hello, Bridget.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
Great. How are you? I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Miss Lily said she's going upstairs to get her hat. It's funny.
Oh, that's funny. Does she mean her tinfoil one?
I think she's going to turn her camera on with the hat on. I don't know.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll have my camera on at the beginning of a live, for a little bit, but then I turn it off because I just don't like having my camera on. I usually have my headset on, right? And then I have my glasses on. And frankly, I don't want nobody seeing me looking like that.
Oh, I know. I
Leaning
hear
into the computer screen and all that,
I know.
Hey, Rondi, it says your devices are not connected. So you got to connect the mic to be able to come up. Do you want to try again? So what do you guys think about all this so far? I'm going to go down while you're talking.
I think if the state can, this social media account that their daughter found or thought she found, it was Brian Kohberger's, who was liked Kaylee and Maddie. If the state can prove that was a legitimate account, and I don't think they can. I'm not sure they can, and don't think they can. But if they could tie that up in a bow, to me that would make him toast.
I agree.
And I'm afraid they're not going to be able to. I just don't get the sense that they have that from what Ann Taylor said in the some of her motions and other things.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rhonda, you tried again and it still says your devices are not connected. I don't know why. You want to try again? I'm going to kick you again, okay? Not banning you, just kicking you so you can maybe try to hook up your thing again. You don't have to have your camera on or anything like that. Okay, there we go. I don't know what's going on with her device. Okay, so CSTR girl says, I think Steve and family may have known the police were zeroing in on a person when they were interviewed by Olivia. They may have, yeah.
Hey, Debbie, I'm gonna step in my mother's room. I'm listening. I'll be back in about 1 minute.
Okay, sure. Hello, Delana. How are you doing? So, Bridget, what do you think?
I can't. I'm trying to think. That's the problem. I can't anymore. This has gone a little bit out of control for me to keep up with. You know, all this. All I can say is that it's just like when nothing adds up to me that can't make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Hey, little bit. Do you want to turn your camera off or on? Can you hear me? I can see you backstage and your camera is still on, but all I can see is your ceiling fan. There we go.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Bit. I can. How are you doing?
Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yes.
All right, good. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay, so I played that one. 18th and 8th.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Delana said hello to you.
Hello, Delana.
Okay, maybe this is it. This might be it. This might be the one that I was looking for. Where she said she only had a few minutes, I think. Let me see if this is it really quick.
I want to bring in Kaylee's sister now, Olivia. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Olivia. You know, I remember from when we first started communicating, when all of this began, you told me that you believed that this was going to be a stranger who came into the house. And according to the police, you know, you were right the way that all of this played out. But what did you think when you first learned that Brian Kohberger was the suspect?
I think we always presume, you know, innocence. I don't think it really hit me until the affidavit was released and I was able to kind of read that and process that. And then you not only have a name and a face, but, you know, the beginnings of a case against him.
You have been working so hard behind the scenes, and I don't think a lot of people realize that because in many ways your dad has sort of been the face of the family. But since the beginning, you've been digging into this and trying to find leads and sending things to the police. And you told me that, you know, you didn't feel like you would be able to really grieve until there was an arrest made. Do you feel like now you're able to do that?
I think my family as well as myself are starting to get there. And it's kind of an odd time to do that, seeing that we still have such a long road ahead of us. But the relief that we all felt having a suspect in custody was, it was like, I can't even describe it. Like the weight of the world was lifted from our shoulders.
The court process now, though. I mean, that's, you know, your dad has told me that can be overwhelming to think about, the fact that you guys are going to have to be in court. Do you plan to be at the hearings?
Yeah, every single one.
One thing back to the affidavit that I think a lot of people were surprised by was the fact that one of the roommates was awake when the killer walked by, and that the 911 call wasn't made until hours and hours later. Do you know any more about why that might be?
I don't have any other information for that. I do know Dylan is really young. and she was probably really, really scared. And until we have any more information, I think everyone should stop passing judgments, because you don't know what you would do in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's people online, obviously, it's totally inappropriate at this point. And you're right, no one knows how they would handle a situation like that or what was really happening. I mean, we only know what's in the probable cause so far. Is there anything you've learned that connects Kohberger to any of the victims here? Last I talked to your dad, he said the family was looking for connections, but there wasn't anything really apparent at this point.
Yeah, I think we're still going to keep looking. I've had a lot of people reach out with, Instagram posts, or even a Spotify, or lots of connections that they've been able to find. And those are super valuable. All of those go over to, the Moscow Police Department, as well as the Idaho State Police and the FBI, because nothing is insignificant at this point, and everything is being looked through.
There's this feeling that many have shared that perhaps Kohberger was watching the interviews, was in the Facebook groups, was on Twitter. Do you get a sense that that might be the case, that he was almost watching all of this as it played out?
I do. A lot of that comes from the fact that he had visited the home so many times before, late at night, early hours. He's presented this pattern of behavior. He went back to the home the morning of, before police had been called, I think to see if his circus, so to say, had started to unfold. And I think that he would not have been able to refrain from engaging with the online communities.
Okay. So, Rondi, it is still saying the same thing. I don't know why. It says devices not connected. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sorry. Welcome, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me up here.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. So, I think I am done to the end of what I had. I had that timeline that she had. Let's see.
Debbie, what was the date of that interview that we just saw?
Let me go back up to here. Well, I gotta get.
Hi everyone, Mark Barden here.
Gotta get past the commercial. So it'll let me see the date. There we go. Okay. That was January 8th.
Okay, and he was arrested on the
30th of December.
Okay.
So it was 1 week later.
That just makes me think that she didn't go, a day after he was arrested. It was a little more time between the time he was arrested and when she dove into the Snapchat or Instagram, because she was saying people were sending them screenshots about social media accounts. And I would think if she did it, she would tell about her own investigation, not what people had sent her. I don't know, just a thought. Who knows?
Yeah, I hear you. So before, let's see. Oops, went too far. Hang on. I don't like this. I thought it might be cool to use a presentation form so I could, organize my thoughts, but I don't like the way it's looking anyway. So if you guys remember early on, there were all these leaks, right after the gag order.
Yeah.
About how Brian supposedly had photos of the victim, sources about what happened during, right? And I am wondering if it was the Gonzalez family who was actually telling
I thought that
Banfield
too.
about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on what they just said in the 48 hours, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought that Steve was on it from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I always believed him. He always was very genuine and authentic in what he was saying. And I always felt like even since the gag order, he was quiet for a long time, but he tiptoed around his words and spoke very specifically. You know what I mean? Like the way he spoke was kind of, what do you call it? Like, I don't know what the word is, but
Guarded.
you know, yeah,
Cautious.
guarded, but also like cryptic, like almost like he was saying certain things, but
He was
beating around
dropping
the
off
bush.
hints.
Yeah, dropping hints and stuff. Yeah.
Kind of like read between the lines.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jeff, thank you so much for becoming a member, and Riddler as well. Thank you. I think Riddler, you were a member like a month or two ago, I think.
Another
I
thing
remember
I
correctly.
hear, Debbie, is from time to time, and really quite a bit, is people have this idea that family is somehow by law privileged to know aspects of the investigation, and really law enforcement doesn't have to tell them anything.
No, and they
They
don't.
do so out of courtesy some tidbits, but just like when they told them they were going to arrest him, that night, they could have easily gone to a social media site that night and actually messed the investigation up somewhat. So,
Right.
Anytime somebody gets all torn up by the family, they don't even tell the family anything. Well, they really can't, and nor should they.
Right. Hey, Layla. Layla Stevens became a member. Thank you so much. So Jeff and Riddler and Layla, thank you so much for becoming members. Now, I had the same experience with an investigation. My sister was found deceased, and we had to wait 8 weeks during the investigation to find out what happened and everything. It was a very long wait, and we weren't told anything either. Anything at all.
Yeah.
It was a rough time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah,
But the thing, I'm just gonna say this, like, my problem is when I see a case, and I'm researching a case, usually if it's true, whatever happened was cut and dry. Then I see cases like this rarely happen, but when they do, it seems like they're making a collage of lies, to me, in my opinion. That's what I see it as, because it's just one thing after another that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So, and that kind of fogs our brain and makes us confused, and we don't have answers, and it makes us more confused, so I feel like it's almost intentionally trying to block us from
Yeah.
thinking logical, black and white. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Are you
hey,
thinking?
Legendary. Where is your wrench? He says, "Oh, I get sick and you demote me." I didn't. Hang on, I've got to go over to my chat real quick and fix this. I don't know what happened. I didn't demote you. Hold on, let me fix it. Let me see what's going on here. Okay.
Can I clarify something real quick?
There we go. Yeah, I don't know what happened, Legendary. How are you doing? Absolutely, go right ahead.
Okay. When I don't know who was just talking. I'm sorry, I didn't see. But when you said they, are you talking about the family, or are you just talking about like everybody in general? I didn't catch that part. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just think they, as the FBI and Moscow Police Department, whoever's conducted this so-called, I don't think it was a real investigation.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I always say we have to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to say
That's
this.
what I say. Thank you.
You
And that's
called
what
911.
I said here.
They called 911 for an unconscious person.
Correct.
EMS is the one that comes.
Yep.
EMS gets there, police get there before they do, at least according to what I read in the news article, or at the same time. You don't
Probably the
turn
same
them
thing.
away. You don't even have that. I mean, at least in my state, you don't have that authority to send them away.
You're right.
And you know, for an unconscious person, you would want EMS to be there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to go in. Then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you walk in, you are faced with this smell, or you are hit with this smell of blood, because they said they smelled like a strong smell of
Sulfur.
yeah, whatever. So police now, if they see that there was some kind of crime committed, they're there to safeguard the crime scene, not let no one go in or out.
Yep.
And that case now to homicide detectives. Why would Payne take it upon himself to do whatever it was, and or why detectives weren't there? I don't know. Maybe this is how Idaho does it. I really don't know.
Never heard of it in my life.
Not
And I've
like
lived in a
in
lot
that
of
order.
states.
The what?
I've been in I just know by law, as any state that I've ever lived in, which is multiple states, that you can't go into a crime scene in common clothing. I mean, where are your gloves? Where's your mask? Where's your booty? Whatever the heck.
Yes,
No,
like
absolutely. And
Doug
not only
says.
that,
So
you have your body cams on. I mean, this is the whole point.
Oh,
It's for your
absolutely.
safety, but it's also to record everything that's going on.
And it's funny how you
she's
just
right.
said that, because now they don't want the cameras in the courtroom. Okay.
Yeah, it was like
Now,
the defense had everything out there from day one, right? Everything, we were able to read everything that they filed, and then all of a sudden now both sides are sealing everything. It's really weird.
Did you see how it coincidentally happened after the prosecution couldn't prove their DNA sample? Or
Yes, it was
It was
right
after the
after.
FBI paid a visit to a
Yes,
witness.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
when they both suddenly agreed, oh yeah, we better keep this hush hush.
And I think hindsight being 2020, I think the gag order has done more to possibly prevent this from being a fair trial than cameras in the courtroom could ever do. Because when the gag order came into place, then all of a sudden we heard all these outlandish conspiracy theories and people going down the
I think the gag
tunnels
order
and
has done
this
more
and that, and that just puts a lot of nonsense.
Did
into
you
the
ever think
narrative
that maybe they did
among
that on
people.
purpose, though?
The
I don't
what?
think any of it was on
The
purpose.
gag
But
order to make more confusion, because they
no,
knew they
I don't
were.
think so. I think
No?
he probably thought he was doing the right thing, but in my opinion, looking back,
Maybe.
No,
I don't think it
I
achieved
think,
that at all.
yeah, I don't think the prosecution ever thought it would get this big.
No.
I honestly didn't think they would ever think that true crime was gonna hit on something, and you know, maybe they underestimated the defense, maybe they underestimated
The
BK.
YouTube world.
Yeah,
you see,
they definitely underestimated
They
the
always
YouTube
do,
world.
don't they? Seems.
and I think that, like, when you guys said go back to the very beginning, when we go back all the way back to the beginning, and they said that when somebody called 911 for an unconscious person, I don't know how many times on a personal level other people have had to call, but I know for myself, if I call 911 because I have something wrong, like an unconscious child or something, law enforcement typically doesn't come. Our fire department does, and then our EMS is usually right behind it. Now, if I called because there's something suspicious, then absolutely law enforcement is going to come with, if we also need help with the fire department, and then EMS is right behind them, shortly behind.
Area, they,
So that tells me.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's why I feel like, yeah, okay, so even if it did go through as an unconscious person, that, you know, maybe there were some additional questions that were asked, and whatever the person told them, they knew, okay, we're going to need to send law enforcement. And so that's why I'm thinking law enforcement showed up. However, I think we all know the steps that they took after from that moment on. You know, I've never seen it ever be done that way.
Okay, well, if you're why would you call for an unconscious person if you have a house full of dead people? slaughtered
Well,
with blood everywhere. You can't smell the blood. You didn't see the blood. You didn't.
Yeah,
how
see,
did
and
you
not
get to the
knowing.
phone?
well,
You
it
know
was
what I mean?
stated somewhere. I don't know where there was
That to me is
That's why I'm
totally.
thinking it was stated that there was something else in play, or I
Well,
don't
they
think
couldn't
the cops would have
understand or
came.
something, so they kind of put it in like that. That's what it was stated.
A lot
That
of
they.
times,
Wait,
911,
wasn't there they were calling about somebody, one of the students or the victim's friends came over 8 a.m. and that was the unconscious person that
a lot of
passed
times the
out
first
because
thing
of the scene?
911 asks you if somebody is hurt, they will ask you, are they unconscious? So I wonder
Right.
if
And
that's
then
how
they'll
they
ask
got to
you
the
why.
unconscious part.
Because they do ask if they are conscious or unconscious, are they breathing, not
They
breathing. They
ask
have
you
a.
multiple questions until the police get there or the EMS.
And if anybody was hysterical, they're probably just at that point patching through, just getting the call out.
Right.
So as far as how it was dispatched, as long as they just started to get some help out there, but it's like once they got there, the police know their role. They know.
Exactly.
And as soon as they did, if let's just say they, from what we heard in the affidavit, it said before they even walked in, somebody said dead. So at that point in time, if the officer would have looked at the person who said that and said somebody's dead, then they should have just taken precautions from that point going forward.
Yep,
Absolutely.
that's when the
They
crime
should have
scene kit
safeguarded
goes up.
everything. Yep. They
I'm
should have
gonna-
taped everything up.
And everybody's
I'm
got
going to
to get
welcome
out.
Love too up here real quick, you guys. Hang on. Here we go. Hello, Love. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good,
How are
good.
you?
Good.
What do you think of all this?
Oh my God, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say.
Well, my only rule is to be respectful to each other.
No.
Other than that,
totally.
your game.
What I want to say is this: none of this. I don't believe in anything that has been told to us. I don't believe the narrative
I
about.
agree. Thank you for.
I don't believe.
God, I felt like
I have.
crazy.
I don't
What do
believe
you believe?
any of the narrative. I don't believe about Dylan saw bushy eyebrows. I think the whole bushy eyebrow is a code for who the person was there. And I'm this is what I believe, you guys. I don't believe any of the narrative. They don't have any evidence. It's a total joke. They know what happened, and I have a really strong feeling that unfortunately Kylie's family knows what happened.
I believe that too. For some
And
reason,
I don't believe that
believe
after watching what I watched this weekend.
No,
I
you want
believe
to know
that
why I know
dealing
that?
here
Because he
with
said that basically.
Did you say Kaylee's family? Did you say Kaylee's?
Kaylee's, I'm sorry.
You know what? I believe
yeah.
Steve's family knows. I know Steve knows a lot more. He even said it. He said, someone is going to have to pay the ultimate price.
Remember,
and
he
it,
said
it,
we
it
either have
isn't
the
going to
guy
be
or
his.
we don't.
Yes.
I believe that regardless of what happened or whether if his daughter was involved in something wrong, regardless, she was unalived. And somebody has to come forward and pay for that. You know what I mean? Because regardless of what mistakes your kids make or what they get involved in, but if they get unalived in the way that she got unalived, I would want somebody to come forward and just tell the truth. He wants the truth to be there.
Hi, Nat Cat. How are you?
Yeah, he wants the truth to be out there. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you this. I do believe that there was loud screams. I believe there was barking. But if you're if you're the neighbor that is dealing and you know the high power, what they do you really think you want to keep your mouth shut?
Yeah.
You're not going to say, oh, yeah, I heard a scream. Oh, yeah, and I heard the dog barking. And then they know that they're going to come to your house and get your name and get everything.
Yeah.
Because
And
the
investigate
cops,
you.
and then the high power are going to come after you.
And who is that?
Yeah. And I think that's why it's important to go back to the beginning, because the people who maybe are unaware of the high status and the high power that's in that town are the ones that were maybe talking first. Right.
Okay,
And they're the ones.
Are you ready?
Those
for
are
my
the
next
students.
Yeah.
That
Are you guys ready for this?
Uh-huh.
I hope you're all sitting down.
Oh, I am. I don't know if you can shock me at this point.
I believe, and no one has talked about Emma and Demetrius. Okay, I
Oh,
believe
100%.
Yeah, I forgot
allegedly,
about them.
allegedly, okay, allegedly, because I don't want this channel to get in trouble for making things that is not even out there. But allegedly, I believe that these two were sent to do something to this
I agree.
girl, and conveniently. Why did Kaylee sleep with Maddie? She was afraid something was going to happen. In my opinion, she felt like I'm going to sleep with her because if I sleep with her, maybe nothing happens to me. She was afraid sleeping in her room that is close to the freaking window, close to the balcony. So she slept in Maddie's room. She might have forgot to lock that up, but little did she know that they were going to come in and do whatever they did to both of them.
Now,
I don't think they were
if you
gonna go
believe
in
that,
at all.
then
I think they were
believe
there.
there's a coincidence between Kaylee's Range Rover she just bought. She wasn't even living in that house. She came to visit. Coincidentally,
That was her last night, I believe, before
yeah,
she left.
coincidentally, some murderer ransacks the house and kills
No,
four.
she was due to leave on Tuesday. If I'm
And
not
And guess
if
mistaken.
who
he's watching
invited
them, he's
her?
gonna know she's
Guess who
there.
invited her? I believe she got
Exactly.
set up. They knew that
Oh, you
she might
guys,
have.
look on the screen right now. Do you see that? That was just up there of Kaylee in her room. That was her last Be Real from that night. And she had it on her, it showed her location.
Oh, I can't see
Yeah,
it.
so they know that she was in town. Whoever was following had to have known. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, surprise, she's here. They knew she was there.
Well, think about it. Dylan was the one that was convincing her to be her plus one.
I don't
mean,
like
come on.
Dylan. I got
She
a
might have spent
bad feeling
money
about
that she
that
was
woman.
not supposed to spend. She might have spent the money that she was not supposed to spend.
Well, this is where I want to touch on something. I don't know if anyone has watched Chronicle of Oblivious, but Kaylee's sister did an interview, and she was talking about an account. I don't know if it's that Lincoln something.
Lincoln account?
Yeah, that she was talking about, but she said that within hours, that whole account got deleted. But she was able to screenshot. Yes, she was able to screenshot something there that it said "You're so beautiful," and she had no idea who sent that to her sister.
Oh, I did not hear that piece.
Yeah.
Riddler. Hello,
And
Riddler.
you
Do you
heard
know
that
what
from
time
where?
that was?
Chronicles of Olivia.
No, what time that it got deleted, the account. or
Oh,
whatever.
she said that happened within hours. I did
Of that
save
night?
it just in of that night, of the
Oh,
night
wow.
of the when she found out that something happened to her sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Hey,
you another
Riddler.
thing now. Let
Hey
me tell
there.
you something else. Okay. You know that car that is going around and around and around, and they're making us believe that is the white Elantra. It's
I
not
doubt
the white
that.
Elantra. I made a close up
I know
like
what it is.
many
It's a black
millions times.
SUV.
It's a black car.
It's a
And who
black
drove a black
SUV.
car? Emma drove a black car.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, the
So she was
Toyota?
around. She was the one going around and around. The last car that we see that looks like a white Elantra, guess who car I think it is, in my opinion? The
Jack
cup car.
S.
The one that is like
the
driving a
silver
gray
one
car that looks white.
that pulled over the Banfield kids.
Exactly.
At
The
That is the
3:30
hybrid.
one that
a.m.
we
and they
see at the
redacted the
last.
scream in the background while he was undercover arresting these kids for no reason. And the affidavit that he wrote, Rosenberg, whatever, says they were stumbling around, couldn't walk, had beers in their hands. I already watched the video. There was no beer in their hands. They weren't stumbling. They weren't drunk. They were doing nothing of the sort of being drunk.
Well, my thing is this.
And just so happens there's a scream, and they're right across the
You hear a
street from the
screech.
murder.
We don't know if it's a scream or not, but we can
I
safely
heard
assume
it
that.
because I remember specifically I had my friend here one night and I said, call me crazy. And I played it 3 times for her, full blast. At first she was like, I don't know. I played it 3 times. She was like, yep, actually, yeah, you're right. I hear a scream. And then why the fuck is it, sorry, excuse my language. Why is it redacted from that like 3 weeks after? You can't hear it anymore. They totally deleted it. Why?
Well, because They're the government. They can do anything.
Well, I know.
But you know, I want, like I said, if we go back to the beginning, if you notice all of those calls for the noise complaints and so forth, the cops
yeah.
specifically keep telling Maddie and Kaylee, listen, they can hear you from, you know, up the hills or wherever. You know, that's how
Yeah.
loud it's playing. Now, take into consideration it's about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And if we're watching the video and that's true to its core, it's very quiet. Are you telling me that
No one
4
heard anything.
people that are getting attacked in such a gruesome way, no one hears anything?
Everybody
Especially
heard, you guys.
I'll
Everybody
never
heard, but
believe
no one
that.
wants to say
especially
nothing.
that
No one want.
woman.
Everybody wants to keep their mouth shut.
That's what makes me think it has to do with the fraternity.
Let me tell you
Hate
something. I have a
criminality.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna keep quiet because I don't want my neighbors to hear me. I have a neighbor that they.
Your Alexa's
My
already
neighbors,
listening to
Awesome.
my neighbors, they fight like crazy all the time,
Oh
every
yeah,
weekend.
mine too.
Okay, the cops have been
I
here
called
like
the
3
cops on
times
one night.
already. But do I mind my own business? Yes. Do
I
I
do
hear?
too.
Do I hear help? Do I hear all kinds of stuff? Yes. But do I mind my own business? Yes. Because I don't want my car to get messed up. Because I
Right,
don't want to
right.
die. I
Right.
don't want to get stabbed, and I don't
Me
want to get
neither.
cut.
The only time I call the cops is when I hear that baby scream down the road and in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know, that freaks me out. And I have called the cops over a baby girl because I don't know what's going on down there. But anyway, I'm digressing. The thing that, what about why is Xana's DoorDash bag of food that she ordered apparently at 4:21 or 4:12, I forget. But why is it on the kitchen counter? Like, if you're ordering food that late in the night, you must be hungry. You must be wanting to eat that.
Yeah, we don't know if that was her order
Yeah,
from
we
that
don't know for
night.
certain.
Guess
That's the
what?
Yeah,
issue.
we don't know.
It
I
probably
have a
wasn't.
story for that one. You guys are gonna love it. Guess who picked up the order?
Who?
In my opinion, Emma. Guess
What was
what?
she doing in the house? Is she friends with
She
Dylan and
ordered
Becky?
it for her. She ordered it for her to have a
I
reason
thought
to
the
go to the
DoorDash
house.
driver had
Oh
been
my
identified and
Thanks, Jeff.
cleared.
Emma did DoorDash.
That
Her
sounds
mom
like
even
a
said
setup.
that she did DoorDash for quite some time, on and off.
The
Now, I'm
thing
not
with
saying
Emma
she
is
was
this
that
is-
DoorDash.
the thing with Emma and okay, so she was supposed to be. This is just a question. You guys make this make sense for me. Because I haven't really paid much attention, honestly, to the Emma thing and the drug theory.
No
I
one
really
has.
haven't. I just personally don't think it's relevant. But if Emma was this big time dealer, why was she needing to do a side gig of DoorDash?
Well,
she would.
It would go hand in hand with
She
what
would
she
never
would
do
do
it.
and
It would
give her a
help
little
her
bit of cover.
with her driving. It would
Right.
give her an excuse to be driving.
My
Perfect.
son does it. Okay, hold on. Let me clarify.
both
He
make it their
does
big time.
DoorDash, and he'll
Like
do
this
it all
cover?
throughout the night.
Because think about it. If you live in a nice prestige area and you're calling DoorDash all the time, people just think, okay, this person doesn't want to cook. However, if that person does have other things, or any goodies on them, they could be delivering, the pizza with the
Oh.
topping.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I'm
it
gonna
makes
be.
it
I'm gonna be
cover
ladies,
up.
ladies
You can
and
be
gentlemen.
like, I
I'm gonna
want
be heading
some.
out because it looks like my phone is starting getting like a robot. I just want to say this for before I leave though. Oh shoot, I forgot. Oh. Do you remember? Do you remember Emma being at the police station when she was gonna get
Yes.
interrogated?
Yes.
Do you remember what
Yes.
she pulled out of her crack?
Yes. Yes.
What'd she do?
She pulled drugs out of her butt.
Drugs out of her crack and put it in the garbage in the police station.
And you saw this where?
At the police station on cam.
That's a
Okay,
channel
if you
that's
saw it,
saying
why
that.
didn't they see it?
Well, that's a channel that's saying that.
No, you can see
No,
it. You
it's
can
footage.
see her
What
grabbing
kind
the
of drugs did
napkin,
she have?
going in her crack,
So what did
pulling
she
it
have? What
out,
kind
and
of
throw
drugs?
it in the trash.
It didn't show. She was sitting.
Meth,
She was
if we
sitting.
saw it, we should know.
No, well, she was sitting in the chair. She grabbed a napkin from the table.
Yep.
She bent over, like leaned over to the side. She put her hand all the way down into her pants, and she was like, really grabbing.
Yeah.
She took it. She pulled it out. She wrapped it up in the napkin. And then she put it in the trash can, and she did it right when the officer walked out. He put his hand down, and he left it on the table.
In her butt at the police station. The best thing she could have done was leave them there.
But why wouldn't the officer look? I mean, I'm sure he had to go
because
back.
they're corrupt.
Well, they picked her up for a DUI. And so when they took her in.
Okay, why didn't that girl get a DWI?
Really bad.
Was Emma the one that
Love
got
you
the
guys.
DWI?
Yes, Emma got the
pulled
DUI.
over?
Mhm.
How did she get away with that? She didn't get nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about that. Why would she leave?
She had to get bonded
Why did she just
out.
get away scot-free, though?
She had to get bonded out. She had friends with her, and
I don't know.
I mean,
If you get a DWI, they hold you for a certain amount of time, and if you get sober by daylight, usually they'll let you go by then. If not,
Oh
you
yeah,
get
I've
by.
been arrested for
Yeah,
that.
it's not that big a deal.
Right. She was asking. I mean, it was just on cam, and she said, "How much do I need?" And then she told somebody to call her sister and to go to the house to get money. For her bond or whatnot.
In the safe.
Yeah,
Now,
in the safe.
I'm gonna tell you
and
this.
take some money for yourself, she said, if you need some.
Yeah.
The safe? Okay.
So Peyton,
Can we
Peyton
just
has
open
the
our
best
eyes right
comment.
now? Who has a safe at that age? I don't. And I'm way older than her. All of them. Who has a safe?
Well, my youngest son does have a
I
safe.
feel like that's for it. Like that. What that? I don't know.
But that's just because we have a lot of people that come in and out. So
Yeah, but they
that's why he
also
has one.
had digital door locks on each door. And mind you,
they
for
didn't.
some reason, Xana's dad had to replace it the week before.
I don't think they had digital door locks. I think they had the key one, the one that you could stick the key and then turn it.
Oh, I thought.
I know just the front door, I think, is the one with the combo lock. But the bedroom doors have never been
on King
confirmed.
Road, I don't think any of that's ever been confirmed.
It hasn't. None of the door locks on the
we're
bedrooms
talking
have
about
ever
a lot
been
of things
confirmed.
that have not been confirmed, and
Yep.
Yeah.
you know, that takes us down
This is where I want to go. I
Why
want to
aren't
just
they
go back.
being confirmed?
I just want to go back. So this is the thing. 911 is called. EMS shows up. EMS gets told to leave.
Why?
Don't know why.
Because law enforcement had already been there and said it was obvious we had 4 people unalived and there was no need for EMS to be there. It was time to figure out who was going to take over the crime scene.
Are you kidding
and
me?
start doing
No
crime scene
reason for
analysis.
EMS to be there?
Yeah, but you know why?
When you got 4 people that are obviously unequivocally dead, not breathing,
That's
and have been dead for
exactly
some while,
reason
you don't
enough
have a
to have
damn need for
EMS there.
EMS.
One at a
Sir, but they're
time.
not-
One at a
they're not-
time.
Unless you're going to let EMS to handle your crime scene, they
Sir,
can go home.
Sir, okay, I understand what you're saying, but the police officers don't have the authority to pronounce anyone dead.
Correct.
You're correct. They can't officially do it, but they were
So-
pretty able to
so then-
ascertain at that moment that those people were unalive and without question.
Okay.
No, wait. You
that,
make
but
a
then you
really
have
whoa.
two roommates
Let's
that
back it
are-
up. You made a really good point about them not be. I didn't think about that till just now when you spoke about that. They don't have the right to say if they're dead or not. So if they're kicking the EMS out, they don't want them to confirm them dead, obviously. But then somebody from the 911 call is saying an unconscious person. Right or
So
wrong?
could one of them still been breathing? And we wouldn't know. We wouldn't even know, would we?
You know, I'm not questioning that. I'm not questioning if they were already deceased at that point. That might be true, and he might be correct in having them go into the rooms. However, you do not tell them to leave because let's not forget, you still have 2 roommates that are alive. How do you know that
they
they're
might
not?
have done some
Okay,
checks
but
on
they were
them
asked
about
to
their
leave.
well-being.
EMS was told to leave. This is what I'm saying. EMS was
unbelievable.
Hey guys, I want to just thank Tony Martinez. Thank you very much. He says, "Someone buy Emma a handbag."
Yeah, But then, okay, so then we continue. So let's fast forward to the PCA. That's where I want to get at. The driver there, and this is something that bothers me a little bit. So Kaylee's sister says that she is adamant when she saw the video that they were dropped off at 156 at 156 in the morning. In the
Who was dropped off
PCA,
where?
that the
She
Kaylee
she
and
has
Maddie were
evidence
dropped
of that
off.
from her phone.
Right, because she saw the video. She saw the ring cam and it said 156.
Okay.
But then if you look at the PCA, the driver said that he picked up the girls at 156.
And it took what, 4 minutes to get there? 5?
And it takes about 5 minutes, maybe.
I think 5-minute walk and a 2-minute ride.
So we'll
I think
say
it was
201,
158.
202.
I know what you're talking about. When you read the PCA, from what I can remember, it gives you the time 156, but it doesn't tell you if they left at 156 from the grub hub or they arrived at 156. Because I remember going over that in another chat.
I think all that matters is what time they arrived at their house.
Right.
And I think all
she's
that
saying
matters is nothing
156.
makes sense and nobody can be logical about this. I mean, come on, guys. This has been just one lie after another.
Mm-hmm.
Just to confuse us. I'm not
I think,
confused.
in the very, Olivia was, 6 months pregnant during this time frame. And I know the lady in the beginning, you experienced something like this with your sister. I did with my husband and my brother. When somebody passes away like that, we all know how our minds are. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Our minds don't make sense. And sometimes I don't even know if we're even realizing that.
No,
and
usually
so
you're shocked.
she's pregnant. She's trying to be strong for her family. They're all coming together. They're getting these phone calls from all these people. And then they have relatives that live there. They have friends that live over there. They have all this stuff. So in the beginning, they probably thought, and they probably were getting tons of information, and they're just taking it all in as this is what it is. Because, your brain can only, cope with so much with the loss of your child like that, and then much less them having, those type of feelings with Maddie as well. And then now you've got 2 other, and then you're trying to process how did 4 people, 6 people in a house, you would think you're pretty darn safe. So, they're thinking, it's just, I think the whole thing was so confusing for everybody.
Jeff says, I picked them up at about 1:45 a.m., said the driver. They had their food, and they were super excited about their mac and cheese, as girls are after they go to the club.
Yep.
Okay, so then I guess
Thank
she would
you.
have gotten.
At this point, I don't even care about the DoorDash or the food or any of that.
I picked them up about. That was the second time, Jeff.
I want to know about these police.
Because the first PCA specifically says that he picked them up by 156.
I want to know why there was an undercover cop at the 3:10 a.m. when I heard that scream that I know I heard across the street from where that house was. And they pulled over 3 men and lied in the affidavit. Why would you lie as a police officer of the law?
They lied. What did they lie about?
They did lie. I read
What did they say? What did they lie? What was their lie?
Robinson, or I think his name is Rosenberg or Robin. I don't know.
Rosenthal.
But he was claiming that they were drunk. They were in a field, mind you, not driving, walking. And he was in an undercover car, undercover clothes, in civilian clothes.
The officer?
Yes.
You have to realize, and I'm pretty sure Idaho
but he
has
had body cam.
college security as well as Idaho town police too, I believe. Do they not?
Yeah, he said he was undercover. He said
I've
that
been to
on
college
camp.
and I've lived on campus.
Well, they weren't undercover. They didn't say they were undercover. They were just plain clothes, and they were driving a hybrid.
Okay, well, what do you call
Campus
that?
security's
What do you
job
call
is
that?
to
If you're a
roam
law
around the campus.
officer and you're in plain clothes, what do you call that?
Plain
They
clothes.
were, yeah, like, okay,
No.
so Tomboy,
Undercover is different.
Tomboy
I'm
Charm
sorry.
says they were U of I underage drinking task force. That's what they were doing that night.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was
Campus
their
police
beer?
have a different mindset than town law enforcement.
Yeah, and I mean it is unlawful for a
Yeah,
minor under 21 to be walking around, even just walking around drunk
They
or
want to
carrying
keep
a
things from getting
alcohol.
out of hand on the campus. I mean, that's their whole.
You can't
That's
walk
why
around
they got
fields anymore?
Well, you can't. You can't be on a minor. That do you remember the part in the footage where he says, "Do I do this as what kind of ticket do I give?" And the other officer said, "MIP." That's minor in possession because they had
Where was the
alcohol on
possession
them.
then?
They had it on them.
Yeah, they just weren't hit with an open container, but they
Right.
they had the
Okay.
cans.
Yeah.
So that's why the other gentleman that was 21 was able to leave,
Right.
and because he didn't have an open container.
And they did get tickets. Yeah. That's right.
It was
They
just
did.
minor in possession tickets is all they got. So
It's kind of like a desk appearance ticket, so they'll probably maybe have to
Most of the time, when you have campus security, something like that,
Yeah,
you'll
but
go
campus
to a
security
campus
can't
thing,
give
and
you
they
a
don't
desk
even want to
appearance.
push it to where it's an official state charged by the state.
Right.
You'll pay the fine, and they'll tell you, "Hey, don't do this again." And the dean of the school will tell you to, "Hey, get in line and don't screw
What
up."
about those officers that showed up for no reason, waiting for someone? What do you mean? Like
Where at?
Where?
At 11:22.
Showed up for no
There
reason.
was video of two officers.
That was a noise complaint, and they were waiting for Xana or for Maddie or the other one to come
person
home,
who
who were actually on the lease. The two guys that answered the door were not.
I don't believe anything
signed
that the
leases.
cops say, actually. So that's just where.
Well,
I
it was on video.
that one.
Yeah,
was
and he
on
also
video.
put his hand over the body cam a couple times in those videos, which I don't agree with.
Now, do you
not that
guys
one.
remember
Not that
seeing?
One at a time, everybody.
Did anybody see the other footage that was that same night over, I believe it was in Coburger's complex, when the guy had stolen the sign and he was walking back?
What sign was it?
It was a sign off the side of the road.
A traffic sign. Yes, a traffic sign.
That was later that night, right?
Right.
Yo, that's really illegal.
Yeah, I haven't
And
seen
then
that,
the
but that would
guy-
be Washington State Police or University
Yes,
Police. Not,
yes, it was. It was. But my question is the guy that his friend that was there, and the officer was talking to him. He was the same guy that was at the Grub Hub that was in that sweater.
Enan?
That was kind of standing. Nope. He had long black hair. He had a hat on backwards, and he was standing kind of in the middle, and he was talking to
kind
the
of curly,
girl.
long black hair.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hey guys, people in chat keep saying that everybody's talking over everybody, so let's just
Oh, sorry.
be a little careful. It's okay. Well, I know, but
But in that footage, they were blurring out that guy's sweater that whole time until the very end. And then when he did the ID and he put his phone back, the blur came off. But they were asking him about, I guess he had a wound on his head. And he said, "What happened?" And he goes, "Oh, this happened days ago." He goes, I swear to God. And I thought, that's awfully strange to be blurring out the sweater for the guy to, at his age, because remember, he had just graduated. So he's a little bit older. And the cop said, "What happened?" And he said, "Oh, this happened, like a few days ago." He goes, "And I swear to God." That's
and
something
he was
like one of my
arrested for stealing
grandkids.
a street sign.
Well, he wasn't. His friend was. He was going to meet his friend halfway. His friend was walking back from, I guess, a convenience store, he said.
Yeah,
and he
I
just
haven't
thought
seen
it would
that, I'll
be
be honest with
funny. He thought it would be funny, and I thought it was pretty funny myself. That, I mean, if you're walking down the street with a sign and a cop pulls up, you're just kind of like looking at him like, "Oh gosh, what do I say now? I stole the sign." That's all you can say. And,
Yeah, right.
And so he said, "Well, were you with him? He said, no, he called me and I was going to meet him halfway. And now we're on our way back. And I want to say it was those same police officers, though.
It would have been if it was in Washington. It was near Coburg's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about
Washington
Kopeka?
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah.
We didn't go there.
Maybe another night.
I know, right?
No,
That's too
I don't
deep.
think so. I wanna stick to that little beginning part. I rather
Okay,
stick
yeah,
to
me
that
too,
one.
because that's way too deep.
But the guy in the sweater thing, that to me, I just didn't understand why they were trying to just,
Okay, let me ask you. Have you
At that time, they would have not known what had happened, though, so they
Do you
wouldn't
know
have
how
connected. This
many-
guy hurt his,
Yes, that's
Right.
true.
Well, that's true. That is true.
If it was the same night. I haven't seen that video, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it may
No,
not be. I just
there
assumed.
is. He's so
I see in chat several people, confirming that. I believe you. I just haven't seen it.
And I also
have
want
an
to point out
issue. I have an issue with them the Moscow Police Department not reporting anything. Ever.
Candace asked, does anybody know what time they left the grub truck according to the Twitch stream? Yes, it was at 1:49 a.m. when they left with their food.
Okay.
I'm going to add Love to back here. She dropped down.
Yes, no. You're right about what the video states. I'm just saying that the driver in a PCA, Payne's PCA, says that he picked up the girls at 1:56. That's
Yep.
exactly what he says verbatim.
And that's what Olivia said too.
And then she goes and she says
Ridley.
that she saw that they were dropped off at 1:56. That they arrived at 1:56. So I just find that a little bit, and by
It could have just been a misspeak or
Yeah.
I mean, they've gotten. That's what I was saying. They just have so much information, and she may have mommy brain at this point, and
We have so much information.
Well, you know what?
I did want to
It's
point
hard
out
to keep up with.
May I just point out one thing real quick? A lot of people questioned about the officer taking the picture of Maddie's license.
Yeah, I do too.
Driver's license. Now, I
Yes.
will tell you that in some states, officers carry now their phone, a phone that's assigned to them from the police department, where they
Department
usually
issued.
do. Yeah, they department
It's
issued.
no different than the gun on the side of your
They can do, police reports. They can do all kinds of stuff right there from their phone. They can actually look up something, plates and everything. So sometimes to make it easier for them, so if they don't, want to write down anything on a notepad, they'll take
Yeah, and they have a
picture.
slow night and they can do it in their car.
They'll take a picture and stuff. I mean, being that
What is that
what
noise?
happened to them is a little bit
I don't know. I hear
sad
it too.
and questionable. I guess maybe everyone might read into it, but it's not.
Can I make a comment about that? And again, every state's going to be different. And I didn't. One of my children got pulled over, and Ubering too. It always happens. I don't know why. Maybe the hours. And they did take a picture of his driver's license. And we went to, court so we could get it dropped. And when we talked to the district attorney, I did ask him, because that was a concern for me, and I'd already seen the thing with Kaylee with her picture. I said, is it normal for the officers here to take pictures of your driver's license? And he said, that's not necessary. And I said, but is that normal? And he said, no. And I said, if they do, I said, what would the reasoning be? And he said, they should not. And I said, so here they don't. He said, anything that they need on on him would be in the database. And when they pull that up, his picture will also pull up, on their screen. Because I said, well, maybe it's because, the driver's license is a little bit old and, his hair's grown out. Is it, for a look thing? And he said, no. He said there was absolutely no reason. Now, that's only here, though. I don't know how it is in Idaho.
I don't know if Idaho has issued phones for their officers, and something tells me, I imagine that they do, but you know, if it's issued by the department, it's just no different than a gun on your side. And I'm sure it's tied in with the same software as the tickets, the forms for the tickets and the citations and what have you. So it's just an evidence gathering device. It keeps you from having to go back to his car to look at a screen in his car if he's, you know, all the way around back behind the house. But again, I don't know that that's the way in Idaho. I don't.
Right.
Okay,
I
guys.
would definitely check that.
I only have about 15 minutes left, so it's a school night. So I want to give some final thoughts. Let's start with Riddler because he got booted off and he missed some time. Some final thoughts on like the 48-hour special or the case in general, or what do you think? I'm particularly interested in what everybody thinks about cameras in the courtroom.
Well, I'm stunned when I found out that Kaylee was trapped or pinned, however you want to term you want to use, because now the plot thickens. She's watching this. She's watching her roommate get stabbed. She's got to be screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's got. I just can't imagine they're. I just can't imagine they're dreaming, and they're just they passed away in their sleep. I just can't believe that. And,
would you?
That's a good point, Riddler.
Yeah, and you know, going back earlier, my dad was a fire chief, and I used to type up because he didn't like computers. He was scared to death of them, and I would type up his reports. And if the fire department pulls up, and it could be 100-year-old man has passed away, they cannot move the body until police get there. But if police is already there and they determine this person is beyond no heartbeat and they can't bring them to life and etc., they can go ahead and just release them, and they'll turn around and come on home. Back to the
Now, does anybody know who showed up first, the police or the EMS?
that I don't know.
I don't know.
The whole thing is, and I knew they used the word approximately. We should be holding these people accountable
Absolutely.
to, you know, be as professional as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to approximately to fix my heart. I don't want you to approximately reset my broken bone leg. I want it done right. And that's the same way police should work. And we see it in all professions. We see so many sloppy work, and then it comes back and bites them every time. And I've going into this case, I was 99% sure that BK did this. The more I read the PCA, the more things I start hearing, the more I start leaning towards the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And
what bothers me is the 911 call. Why is it that if they're not afraid of
8
anything,
hours.
if they're not afraid of anything for us to hear, or you know, why wouldn't they show us the 911 call? What is so mysterious?
I think
about the
Steve
911
Gonzalez
call?
said it his best himself when he said on an interview, if you have nothing to hide, what are you hiding?
You hide nothing.
Another
You
thing
don't
that
hide
bothers
anything,
me,
right or wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
this
he
is
said
a closed shut case.
he
right
said
or wrong.
transparency is the best path to justice.
That's right.
and
I will say
another thing
one
that has
thing.
been bothering me is the lady. What's how do you what's the word? The lady that came to say the coroner. Then she said that she
Okay, we all know about
that she said that she went
don't we?
there until like
She run
5
her mouth
minutes
too much.
after.
Yeah, that's
coroner-
why you have my thing up there that says "kiss my butt" because I think she was so harmful early in this case.
Because you can hire a coroner which doesn't even have a medical degree. Okay,
correct.
In
One thing
most
I'll
states,
say-
and it's usually in the West states, Utah, Idaho. Look at Gabby Petito's case. She was
About all this
same
is
thing.
transparency. The straightest road to justice is through transparency.
And in regards to the
Plain and
48
simple.
hours,
We
in
eliminate
regards to the
questions
48
on both
hours,
sides.
I'm sorry. I just bottom
Sorry,
line
guys.
is something is not okay.
in
But
regards
she
to the
said that
48 hours, I don't believe that Kaylee was trapped under Maddie. You know
I
what
don't
I
either.
believe. I believe that Kaylee decided, in my opinion, to sleep with Maddie because she thought she was going to be safe. I believe that Somebody made a mistake and made somebody really angry. I don't believe that BK has any physical, that he didn't do anything physically.
No.
There's no
I believe he
evidence
knows
whatsoever.
something.
He knows something. He might have
And I
witnessed
believe it's
something.
through Bethany Frankel or Funk.
And is everything in this case just a coincidence?
No.
No.
I mean, you got a 4
can even go
o'clock.
deeper.
You got a
No.
4 o'clock DoorDash call. Then you got supposedly the intruder coming in.
Where's the blood?
Well, we don't know. It may
We
be
don't
there.
know
You
We
don't
that.
just
We
know?
don't
can't
know
Well,
what it
see.
where's
looks
the
like.
evidence then?
Well, we can't see. We don't know. We don't know 100%. I'm
Well,
like
We
you.
know about
So
10%
why is the
of the case
prosecution acting like they are?
because that's their
Can I
job.
just give my comment? Because I'm gonna jump off real quick because I do also have to get ready for work. But in terms of the camera, I think the cameras should be there.
Absolutely.
I think that we don't deserve or we have a right to anything, but to have it publicized, then by all means. Do we have to respect also the defendant? I mean the suspect? Yeah, the defendant, yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Under
And
the
you know, so
Constitution, he is innocent.
I think we should have it, but you know, there's always two sides to the story, and then there's the
Okay,
truth.
but the
In
prosecution
terms,
has their job, and their job is to prove he did it. He doesn't have to
right?
prove
Beyond a
anything.
reasonable doubt.
Right, but they
I
don't
don't
have
think
to
they're
give
going
us
to be
anything
able to
before
do
trial,
that.
though. They
Yeah.
and like
No.
Delana says, law enforcement owes us nothing, right? They don't owe us
Right.
any of this, and this is exactly why if something happens to you,
Then why
you
aren't the
better hope
cameras
that
in
you
the
have
courtroom?
hope to God that you have an attorney like Ann Taylor because she is
Yes.
doing a fantastic job
Absolutely.
of
Who questions
good for
every
her,
her
part of
client
the
the
case.
best that she can.
Yeah.
Jules was here until just a little bit ago. She had to get her kiddo to bed, which is what I'm fixing to have to do. But
I
yeah,
think that the defense attorney is doing an awesome job. I
yeah,
really do hope
Yep.
that the families can get justice. That's really what we all want because that's how they're
Yep.
going to be able to heal at one point. And you know, it's really sad. My fear is that God forbid it turns bad for BK and he's innocent and they give him the death penalty and then come later to find out that he didn't do it and he's able, you know, the family was able to prove it.
Absolutely.
We don't have 4 victims, you have 5. And that's
right.
what we have to make sure
This
it
is why
doesn't
it's
happen.
so important that these cameras are in that courtroom.
Exactly.
Because do you know how many times
Exactly.
people are wrongfully convicted in this country because
More
of
than people
corrupt
realize.
police departments?
Well, for those of you who haven't met me before, and I'm going to do a video or something on this at some point, but that's kind of why I'm interested in true crime because I had that happen to my family. One of my relatives a couple of generations back was actually convicted and hung for a killing.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it wasn't until the next generation, I think 25 years later,
Wow.
that the
He
real
was found
person
innocent.
came forward and had confessed. And
See?
so I have a family member who was actually, convicted and like hung for something he didn't do. And that was way back in the late 1800s. And
I
so
am so sorry to hear that.
I'm very, very, very against wrongful convictions. I
So am
hate
I.
that more than anything.
When you get the death penalty, it should be
This is
absolutely
a big deal.
Yes.
This is
100,
taking
It should be
someone's
beyond,
life.
beyond,
In
right.
this case, to me, even if they convict him and everybody mostly thinks he's guilty, there's still that element where you have these little things you can question. To me, I'm surprised they put the death penalty on this case.
If
Well,
you
we
watch,
can't really be
I agree.
surprised though because we don't know what they have. They may have a slam
they
dunk
had
case
it,
and
they'd
we
You
just
show
could
don't
be
know.
right, Debbie, because we know very little. You're so
Yeah.
correct.
That's right. You know what I could actually see in a situation like that? That if there's
Thank you,
question
guys.
there, I could actually see Mr. G siding with the defense and
Yes.
saying, look,
Yep.
you know, this guy didn't do it, and I want the right person, and I'm going to do what I can to help him. I could see him doing that.
I could too. I agree 100%.
I could too.
All
And
you
I
have to
really,
do-
and like
Because,
Jules
you know,
was saying
he went
earlier,
against his wife. He went against his wife's word on the last 48 hours.
The only thing about all that is
Yeah.
you got to come up with an alternative part.
No, you don't,
have
though. This is the
that you have
problem.
fact- what-
The prosecution needs to have the evidence. They already proved they don't. This man is
we don't know
innocent.
yet.
until
we don't know
proven
yet. We won't know
guilty.
until
We
trial.
don't know that yet. We don't know.
You have to kind of picture this like a puzzle, right?
What if it was you? What if it was
And
you?
the thing that they should
I
have
would just
grabbed
and you
as
were
evidence,
innocent.
the things that
They
they should
haven't
have
shown
grabbed
us-
as evidence, such as the other DNAs that they ignored, such as the glove that was found outside, such as Maddie's jacket that was by the fire.
Yeah, what about that?
All of those things that they ignored, and they're saying that they
Yeah,
don't
but
have
that's-
that.
but
That
you're
they
getting that
never
from a
existed.
channel. You're not
Yeah,
getting that from.
there's so little we
getting
don't
that
know,
from-
so we don't know that they ignored those things or not. I mean,
Right.
we
They
just
haven't
haven't
showed
been
their
told
full
yet.
hand yet.
I
All
just
you
try
have
to
to
picture it
do-
like a puzzle. We only
No,
have
I
a
think you
few
should be proud of your evidence. You should be
Hang on.
proud. You should be proud of your police department.
Even if
You
they
should
are,
be
they can't say
putting
anything
that
about it
out
because they
there.
have a
Like,
gag order.
I got him. Got him.
Right.
A
Okay,
gag order doesn't
so
allow them to be proud.
we should just picture this like a puzzle, right? So we're
Right.
only seeing a few of the outside edge pieces, right?
Mhm.
The whole thing, once the trial finally hits, we're going to start seeing all these, puzzle pieces come together, and we'll
Yeah.
see the picture. Right now, we the public don't know shit about this case, honestly.
Yeah, we don't
We
know
just
nothing. Mhm.
We
don't.
know maybe 10%, 20%.
Yeah,
Right.
All one has
maybe
to
10.
do.
Yeah.
All one has to
We only can tell you this much. We have 4 children, 4 young lives that were taken, and we have someone who's being accused of it, and we just don't know if he did it or not. If you ask me right now, if I were to find him guilty or not, I could tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I would have to say not guilty.
Well, of course, because we don't
What
know
you're
everything
presenting
yet.
to me,
Not guilty.
because what you're presenting to me
Not
is
guilty.
not enough for me to say
Nope.
It's
yes.
bullshit.
Oh God.
Put him in
I
front
think
of
I'm
the
gonna wait
jury.
until
Yeah,
they
I
present
think
it before
if
I say it.
anybody right now is willing to convict him based on what we know now, then you're crazy.
corrupt.
And if you're willing to
Yeah.
say that he is innocent based on what you see now, you're
He
crazy.
is innocent.
Exactly.
That's
don't
what everybody
know.
Because
fails
we
to-
just
What
don't
the
know. So that's
prosecution-
why
We don't
have
know
to.
if it's innocence or
No,
it's guilt.
everybody seems to not realize he is an innocent person. As a court
We
of law,
don't know
under the
that.
Constitution of the United
We don't know
States
that
of
no more than
America,
people think
he
he's
is
guilty.
innocent. You
No, we
need to
don't.
prove him guilty. He does
He
not
is
need
Oh
to
yeah,
presumed
he's
innocent, right.
presumed innocent. That doesn't
He is
mean he's
presumed.
innocent.
He is
Exactly. He's
innocent
presumed.
until guilty.
Presumed
Give me
and
the
He's
being innocent are
presumed
two different
innocent
things.
until proven guilty.
Give me the evidence then. Prove him guilty
What
then.
the prosecution is presenting to us is what Emma pulled out of her crack. Simple as that.
Okay,
The
I
prosecution
don't
has
know
not
about all of
presented
that.
anything.
Anyway, I'm gonna tell you, have a great night. Oh, and in the PCA, it does say approximately at 1:56. If I misspoke, I apologize.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
I still
you're right.
will fall on that. It does say approximately at 1:56.
Correct you.
So I just want to just say, if it's close to 1:56, still, we still have a little dilemma there. But he is innocent until proven guilty. But we just don't know where to go right now. We just gotta pray that those cameras are put back in there, and just bring it all to the table. And
That's right. And just
let's
go
just
into the
see.
trial with an open mind, and then
I'm
they'll
praying.
either prove
I'm
to you
praying.
or they won't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this
Debbie?
Friday's hearing, the 10:30 a.m. one, that one's going to be closed to the public because they're going to be talking about jurors and stuff. But the one in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, that one's going to be open to the public. So we're
Okay,
still
when is
waiting
that?
right now for a motion for the ruling from the judge on whether there's going to be cameras or not, because they did hold that hearing. So I've been refreshing constantly on the case to see if there's a thing yet. But
How many of you
it's not.
agree that there should be a camera?
I agree.
I do.
I do, and I didn't feel
agree.
that way until the last
I
couple
do
of
too.
days.
Very much necessary to
I do
have
too.
cameras in there.
I think they're contradicting themselves saying that it's too public. Well, no. Actually, if it's that public, you should put it on camera, right or wrong. You should display it. 'Cause
Transparency
if
is
you're
the straightest road to justice. That's all I'm gonna say.
exactly,
I do
exactly
feel
what you
like
said.
Let me
Transparency.
answer this, you guys. Kat says, did the last 48 hours talk about IGG? If so, I missed it. They literally skipped right over it. They went
and I think they've
Oh
got a
my
problem.
gosh, I didn't watch
They
it.
they skipped right over that, and they actually said that it was the plate on his car seen on surveillance that
Here's
ID'd him, and
what
that
I'm
was
gonna say
wrong.
about that.
The
You
plate
can't
on his
search
car?
every
Well,
apartment in an
where's
apartment
the
complex
plate on that
to
little
get
stupid
drugs
evidence
out
they
of
have?
one of them. And then with IGG, you can't search all these opted out people in these databases for people who had the expectation of privacy just to get to one. To me, they're very close. And the Fourth Amendment says you search warrant should be based on a specified area and things or person you expect to find. They're not broad where you open up the whole box to go look in just to get what you hope something you don't know.
All right,
Absolutely
guys.
right.
I think on that note,
Thank you so much for having me, Sleuthy, on
Thank
the
you.
on
Thank
the
you,
channel.
Sleuthy.
Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity. Mods, chat room, thank you so much.
Thank you
Have
for
a wonderful night.
your
Everyone, be
opinion.
safe.
Thank you for
so
coming up.
much.
I
Let's remember
appreciate
the
you.
victims, everybody. We can argue about all this other
Absolutely.
stuff, but the victims, you got to
I
keep
think
them
of
in
that
mind.
every day.
Yes. Absolutely.
Lots of prayers. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Sleuthy. You guys have a good night.
All righty.
You guys have a lovely evening, and I will see you next time, okay?
CrimeSleuthin, thank you very much. And I hope I've
Good
been
night, chat.
All
good
right. God
guest.
bless all you.
Riddler, love you, man. Love you, Will be. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
I'll see you
call
guys
BS
later.
for coming up a little bit. Love to. You guys
Thank
were
you.
awesome. Thank
chat.
you. Thank you.
Have a
Yes,
good
thanks
evening.
for
Night,
everybody.
everybody.
You guys were great.
Bye-bye.
You guys have a good night.
You
I
too.
will see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Let me see. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that was crazy. That was wild, for a little bit. But that was fun. I really enjoyed that. I love hearing everybody's opinions. Thank you so much. Everybody was wonderful. Delana always has the very best advice at the end of my lives. Remember to be kind and spread some love in this world that is already filled with enough evil and hate. So true, girl. So, so true. You guys have a lovely night, and I will be back. I'm going to be going over to Julez in about a week to do a live with her on the Delphi case. I've got a few videos that I've been working on for the cases that I'm covering, and as soon as there is an order from the judge on this case on whether or not there's going to be cameras, I'll let you know. We do have that hearing coming up on Friday for the defense's motion to dismiss. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens on all of that. I'm still hoping and praying that there is going to be cameras in the courtroom. We really need those. So absolutely. Yes, I will totally, Peyton. I think I've got my schedule down. I'm going to be doing Tuesday nights and Friday nights at around 7 p.m. Central. And then my friend ATS News is going on right after that. So what I'm thinking about doing is going a couple hours before her, and then we can all go join over at ATS because she's got a great channel as well. And other people do Friday nights as well. But I think Tuesday nights is always really good for me around this time, from around 6 or 7 Central on until, 10:30 my time. So this works well for me. I'm not one of those that I have, unlimited time to be online. I have, my girl, all her stuff going on, home, housework, and I'm handling my dad's estate. It's a lot. So I can't just be here for hours a day like some people. I just can't. I wish I could. But most of the time that I do have on the computer, I spend, making videos and stuff for you guys. So thank you again for being here. Sexy Wild Thing, Carol freaking Claus. You're welcome and thank you. Everybody just, like Delina says, remember to be kind. Love you too, girlfriend. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end with my celebration for my new members. Let me go back to my members thing here. Layla and Riddler and Jeff H. Deception Dismantled and Moto Man X all joined. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the super chats as well. I really appreciate that support. I really, really do. Have a lovely evening, you guys. See you next time.
Hey, all y'all. How y'all doing today? All y'all have a good day. Hey, all y'all. How y'all doing today? All y'all have a good day.
Cuerpo, saramo na yan!